Toronto.
Looking forward to it. Vladdy, thank you. Good luck. Have fun.
Thank you.
All right, guys, let's send it back to you.
Here's a look at what number 27 has done over the last 4 years. We've seen him struggle, notably 2 years ago. We've seen him be among the premier players in the game, as we did most of last year. And the question becomes, what is he capable of, Joe, in a contract year when he knows there is a giant sum of money on the end of this thing?
Show me a great player and then show me a highly motivated great player. I think the numbers are going to go through the roof for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. this season, and part of it is because we have now seen his journey. We've seen him challenged to be an MVP in this league. We've seen him go through a lot of ups and downs, and then we saw last year, I thought, where it kind of all came back together again. And I think for me, when I watch a hitter like that, because he is so special, even when he's not at his best, he can still contribute and help a team. But when he is at his best, he can carry a team. And I think the changes that he made mechanically, he got back to a very comfortable place, a very familiar place with his setup and with his swing. And I think he's in a really good spot to start the season. I don't think there'll be a whole lot of tinkering anymore. He is where he wants to be, and it's the best spot for him to be the best version of himself, and that's a scary one.
Yeah, you talk about all those adjustments he made. I think mentally he's in a spot where he believes all of those adjustments Joe just talked about are absolutely for real. And when you have a player of his caliber that mentally looks like they don't care, you know they're in a really good spot. A lot of players would be totally distracted and probably white-knuckling the opportunity ahead of them when their contract talks are made public, and you know you're about to make a stack of money as high as the CN Tower. But Vladdy just has that look in his eye, the look I've seen from players like Manny Machado right before a contract year, that they're not worried one bit about it because they totally mentally know it's in there. They know it's going to happen. I think in years past, I've looked at him in the eye and I've seen him believe, but he's at about a 5% of what if I'm not, and that 5% to me is totally gone. These are the scariest type of players, guys that don't fear and have ultimate talent.
You know Bo Bichette well. Last year he was dealing with some things seemingly unrelated to baseball, and it showed based on production. What are you expecting to see from him in what could be his final year with this team?
Yeah, I asked Bo during spring training, I said, how are you feeling? He said, this is the best I've felt in a long time. I'm mentally free, and I'm expecting a huge year. He said one thing to me in Florida that I cannot get out of my head. He said, I want to put on a show. And I thought, that's interesting. And then you start watching these spring training at-bats, and look at this. I mean, that is showman-type material. We know him for his bat-to-ball skills and being able to hit home runs, but that is putting on a show, Joe, and I think you're going to see some more aggressive swinging. He told me his bat speed's pretty good, but he's really feeling like it's amping up more and more and more because he's feeling like he wants to be a showman.
He's very unique in the fact that he can take a base hit the other way if they need to cash in a run with 2 outs in the 8th, or he can jump you and hit one into the left field seats. He is tremendously athletic, and when great players feel free, he's in a great spot right now.
If you look forward to the unfurling of the Canadian flag, as we do, and maybe it's a bit more profound at this point in time, stand by, because the ceremony on opening day is upon us.
Ani, Magisi Indigenous, Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation Dunjiba, Magisi Dodum, Mississauga Indial. Welcome to you all. I'm the Ogamakwe Chief Claire Salt of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. We are here to honor our commitment to reconciliation and to share a little bit of our culture with you. My First Nation is the treaty holders of this area, and you are located on Treaty 13, signed by ancestors and the British Crown in 1805. On behalf of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, we're so happy you're here and hope you enjoy this sacred place that we still call home.
I'd say
Blue Jays fans at the ballpark and those across Canada joining us live on Sportsnet. Welcome to Rogers Centre, home of your Toronto Blue Jays. We're as excited as you to say baseball is back for the 2025 season. Please direct your attention to the video board as we celebrate the accomplishments of two beloved Blue Jays and two new fan favorites for their stellar 2024 season.
In sports, gold and silver has symbolized excellence for hundreds of years. It's no different when it comes to our game. The best at what we do, forever associated with these two precious metals. The masters of defense are forever golden, while those who swing for the fences are the silver standard bearers.
The Toronto Blue Jays acquired three-time Gold Glove winning second baseman Andres Jimenez.
We learned that Anthony Santander is a Blue Jay.
Guerrero slams it left field and into the night sky.
What a terrific play by a terrific outfielder.
Now all four of these men share the same field. Gold and silver, all on the same diamond, all on the same page, all playing towards one common goal.
Just thank the Lord, baby.
Goal.
High drive left field. And lost by Varsho.
First, we recognize a long overdue award for first-time Gold Glove Award winner Dalton Varsho. Three-time Gold Glover and an exciting addition to this infield, Andres Jimenez. Now a two-time Silver Slugger, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And a man we're happy to see wearing Blue Jays blue, first-time Silver Slugger Award winner, Anthony Santander. Let's hear it for all four players on their performances, as well as the entire 2024 team for winning the 2024 American League Team Gold Glove for defensive excellence. Congratulations.
The 2024 season with a record of 74 and 88.
And now the work starts.
Professionals, competitors, ball players. They welcome the opportunity to prove those who doubted them wrong.
Did not enjoy last year, definitely didn't enjoy everything we went through, but I like the chips on our shoulders, so to speak.
We got absolutely punched in the mouth. That can't happen again. That's not the Blue Jays.
This winter, we heard the noise. But when everyone was talking, we were grinding.
There's an intensity and a focus.
Really excited about how everybody's shown up and kind of ready to turn the page.
It has been a off-season for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Talking about them in the other direction. And at this point, they're having a good off-season.
The energy, when you get there, is very different.
Great player, but at the same time, they're great people.
Everything I've been is how are we gonna win? W-I, and then
we believe we can win a World Series.
Put everything on the line just to win. A ton of proven players in the clubhouse.
In the weight room, we always look up at that banner. We're just ready to put another one up there.
Now we go.
Hope springs eternal at this point of the season. To left field, the base hit, and the Blue Jays walk it off. Sets a fly ball to right. He's hit it well. And it's gone. If I get too close, and I'm not how you was, forget my northern attitude.
Now, we're here. Opening day, where the lights are shining bright again. And we're ready to embrace the pressure, embrace the grind, change the narrative. It's finally time.
Lights up. Let's go.
Now, please welcome the Baltimore Orioles coaches and support staff. Now the starting lineup for the Baltimore Orioles, managed by Brandon Hyde. Batting first, left fielder number 17, Colton Cowser. Currently warming up in the bullpen, catcher, batting second, number 35, Adley Rutschman. Batting third at second base, number 11, Jordan Westberg. Hitting fourth, the designated hitter, number 32, Ryan O'Hearn. Batting fifth, playing right field, number 9, Tyler O'Neill. Batting sixth, playing first base, number 6, Ryan Mountcastle. Batting seventh, center fielder, number 31, Cedric Mullins. Hitting eighth at third base, number 29, Ramon Urias. Batting ninth, the shortstop, number 7, Jackson Holliday. In the bullpen, Orioles starting pitcher, right-hander number 24, Zach Eflin.
Ready, set, go. Ready, 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 go. Ready, 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 set, go. Ready, ready, are you ready? Go. Ready, ready, yeah. Ready, set, go. Yeah, I'm running and running and running. I feel the urgency, it's in abundance. I get that pressure to whoever want it. They see me going, but won't see me coming. It's a sure thing, this ain't tentatively. Yeah. So I guarantee they ain't ready for me. Ain't ready for me. No. Ready, 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 go, go, ready, set, go. Now I'm in the zone. I'm in control. I'm on a roll. Ready, set, go. It's time to load. Let's put on the show. Are you ready? Ready, set, go. Go.
Now please welcome your 2025 Toronto Blue Jays, along with support staff, training staff, and coaches. First, our Blue Jays support staff. Major League Director of Health and Performance, Andrew Pipkin. Head Athletic Trainer, Jose Ministral. Major League First Assistant Athletic Trainer, Boon Chong. Major League Physical Therapist, John Bigger. Major League Massage Therapist, Todd Earl. Interim Major League Dietitian, Yuka Sanui. Major League Mental Performance Coach, John Lannon. Head Major League Strength and Conditioning Coach, Scott Weber. Major League Assistant Strength and Conditioning Coach, Jeremy Trapp. Associate Manager, DeMarlo Hale. In the bullpen, pitching coach, Pete Walker. Bench coach, Don Mattingly. Third base coach, Carlos Fables. First base coach, Mark Budzinski. Assistant hitting coach, Hunter Mintz. In the bullpen catcher, Alex Andreopoulos. Also in the bullpen catcher, Luis Hurtado. Hitting coach, David Hopkins. Assistant hitting coach, Lou Ionati. In the bullpen coach, Graham Johnson. Also in the bullpen, assistant pitching coach, Sam Green. Outfielder, number 3, Miles Straw. Outfielder, number 5, Dalton Varsho. Pitcher, number 23, Jeff Hoffman. Pitcher, number 29, Yariel Rodriguez. Pitcher, number 31, Max Scherzer. Pitcher, number 34, Kevin Gossman. Outfielder, number 36, David Schneider. Outfielder, number 38, Nathan Lucas. Pitcher, number 40, Chris Bassett. Pitcher, number 44, Bowden Francis. Pitcher, number 52, Nick Sandlin. Pitcher, number 54, Brendan Little. Catcher, number 55, Tyler Heineman. Pitcher, number 57, Chad Green. Pitcher, number 58, Richard Lovelady. Pitcher, number 67, Jacob Barnes. Pitcher, number 93, Jimmy Garcia. And now, the starting lineup for your Toronto Blue Jays, managed by John Schneider. Batting first, the shortstop, number 11, Bo Bichette. Batting second, playing first base, number 27, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Batting third, the left fielder, number 25, Anthony Santander. Batting at second base, 0, Andres Jimenez. Batting fifth, in the bullpen, catcher number 30, Alejandro Kirk. Batting sixth, the center fielder, number 4, George Springer. Batting seventh, the designated hitter, number 7, Will Wagner. Hitting eighth, playing third base, number 22, Ernie Clement. Batting ninth, right fielder, number 18, Alan Roden. And in the bullpen, your starting pitcher, right-hander number 17, Jose Barrios. Fans, your 2025 Toronto Blue Jays. We now ask you to please remove your hats and stand if you are able. And welcome our ceremonial flag party, the Lincoln and Welland Regiment from St. Catharines. This past December, we lost a treasured member of the baseball family. Hall of Famer and two-time World Series champ, the Man of Steel, Rickey Henderson, spent 25 years in the big leagues, and we were lucky to have him in Toronto for a short time. Henderson redefined the leadoff role. He was unstoppable on the base paths and holds records in stolen bases, runs, and leadoff home runs. A trophy case full of hardware, including Gold Glove, 3 Silver Slugger Awards, AL MVP Award, 10 All-Star nods, and 12-time stolen base champion. He won a World Series in Oakland and another here in '93 with your Blue Jays. Please join us in a moment to remember Rickey Henderson. Thank you. Opening day is about gathering together with friends and family, cheering on your team, and enjoying the love we all share for this game. Throughout history, baseball has served a role as a place for hope during times of turmoil. The ballpark has been a place to get away and escape from the challenges we face in everyday life. It's a special day for all of us. You, the fans, the players, and coaches standing on the field. For everyone, we ask that you please be respectful of the day and the moment. Now, join us in welcoming the talented cast of the Toronto production of Disney's The Lion King to perform the national anthems.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the rampart we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
With us today to carry the Canadian flag are 225 members of the Canadian Armed Forces.
True.
Now, please direct your attention to the video board as we recognize a special guest.
What do you say about Kevin Kiermaier that he hasn't already said himself? I mean, have you heard the guy? KK loves him some KK.
Oh, yeah. They're afraid to hit it to me.
There's a lady who named her baby Kiermaier. He's like 5 or 6 now.
But seriously, when you take away the glitz and the glamour, when you take away the jaw-dropping highlights, what you have is the 31st round pick from Parkland College in Illinois.
Kiermaier for his first Major League home run.
A kid who scratched and clawed to become one of the best defenders of his generation, winning gold and platinum gloves along the way.
He was a staple and fan favorite for a Rays team that became a serious problem and a perennial playoff contender.
And a shot back into right field. Go!
I have this moment right now. It means the world.
Then he went from foe to friend. After years of being the enemy, it took him all of one game here in Toronto to become a fan favorite.
And he's got it! He took a home run away in the very first game. And Kevin Kiermaier makes a great play. Back to the highlight reel. What a phenomenal catch by Kevin Kiermaier.
As his career came to a close, Kevin went out in storybook fashion as a champion with the Los Angeles Dodgers.
You're gonna ride off into the sunset with what?
With the World Series ring. I'm a happy man. Thank you.
His playing days might be behind him, and now he's playing zone defense with his beautiful wife as they raise their 3 young children.
But KK's not completely gone. The outfield whisperer has returned to Toronto as a special assistant.
One of the greatest defensive players this game has ever seen.
Blue Jay fans,
our friend, Kevin Kiermaier.
To throw in her ceremonial first pitch, a 4-time Gold Glove winner, Platinum Glove winner, and World Series champ who patrolled Major League outfields for over 10 years, the outlaw Kevin Kiermaier. Kevin, congratulations.
Old Dreamy Eyes returns. And wasn't that brilliant flag a lovely sight as well? It's the home opener, and it's on Sportsnet. Dan Schulman and Buck Martinez have the opener next.
Next pitch could be the last one of the 2024 season. Called strike 3, and this one is over. They will wind up with a record of 74 and 88.
And now the work starts.
They say it's always darkest before the dawn. And now, as a new day rises,
a lot going on in the Blue Jays offseason.
So too does hope.
They made some moves that make you believe they can be better.
When the night is come.
I think that the goal ultimately is win.
When I'm on the mound, all that matters is I get those 3 guys out.
I'm not just playing to play. I want to play to win it.
Work hard, get better every single day, and go after the championships. Be afraid. No, I won't shed a single tear. Just as long as you stand by me. Won't you stay by me? Won't you stand by me? Stand by me. Won't you stand by me?
And Vladdy launches one, and gone! And the Blue Jays blow it open!
I think the best part about playing in Toronto for us is the fan support.
It's something that definitely runs deep.
Some of the best in baseball.
When you step in that ballpark, it just lights up and they're electric. I'm definitely a guy that feels the stadium and a whole country of people that I'll feel behind me.
Together, we'll always stand as one. One nation, one heartbeat, one home. It's opening day, live from Rogers Center, next on Sportsnet.
Well, it has been far too long since we were able to say to you, welcome to the Rogers Center for Blue Jays baseball here on Sportsnet. Dan Schulman, Buck Martinez, Hazel May, and the entire crew. We're as excited as anybody that it is officially baseball season again. How nice is it to start at home for the first time in 3 years? It's early, it's the spring, hope springs eternal, everybody's 0-0, and let's see what this team has. A lot of changes. I think everybody would agree, a stronger team than they were at the end of last year, probably than at the beginning of last year as well. They need a lot of good outcomes to have a good season, but there's a lot of belief amongst those guys that they can sneak up, surprise some people, and have a very good year here this year.
Yeah, they're the ones that really have to believe, and I think to a man that clubhouse is full of guys that think this is going to be a good year. Anthony Santander comes over from the visiting Baltimore Orioles a year ago. He had 44 home runs, and the Blue Jays obviously needed some thump in their lineup, and he's going to provide that. And Bo Bichette is healthy. He had a terrific season. Bo is the best hitter on this Blue Jays club, and he was on the verge of leading the American League in hits for 3 consecutive seasons a couple of years ago when he hurt his knee. And he is a different guy now. Same for this guy right here. John Schneider is much more comfortable in his role as a manager, and he's been very demanding all spring long, paying attention to details. Fellas, we cannot afford to make mistakes, and these guys, the newcomers into the team, have validated that as well.
And they cannot afford to get off to a slow start. They have a very difficult April schedule going in towards the end of April. 32 of their first 35. 32 of 35 are against teams that were 500 or better last year. Got to keep their heads above water, start strong, and then see where they are at. Of course, a ton of attention, as always, is going to be on Vladimir Guerrero Jr. coming off a great year last year. As everybody watching this game knows, no contract between him and the Blue Jays. Little signs and reports that they're still talking. Hopefully something will come to pass between the team and Guerrero, but for now, it's time to play ball as the Blue Jays take the field here for the season opener. Andres Jimenez, one of the newcomers, a spectacular defender, 3-time Gold Glove Award winner at second base. He and Bo Bichette will be anchoring the infield. Up the middle, Anthony Santander, a newcomer, Alan Roden, making his major league debut here today. A lot to talk about over the course of the afternoon, and let's not forget, there's an awfully good baseball team in that first base dugout right now. The Baltimore Orioles, winners of 91 games a year ago, and potentially one of the best offenses in baseball. Everybody knows Ryan Mountcastle's been a Blue Jay killer, although last year, not so much. They held him in check for the most part. Last year, the Orioles are without Gunnar Henderson, an MVP candidate. He's that good. He is on the IL with an intercostal muscle strain back in a few days. But Jose Barrios and the rest of the Blue Jay pitchers won't have to worry about Henderson here this week.
Now, Barrios has been a model of consistency. This will be his 5th opening day start, and he's on the verge of his 100th win. He's 99 and 77 for his career. He's been a terrific starter throughout his big league career. Well, the Blue Jays have won back-to-back Team Gold Gloves, and they've gotten even better. But here's a really interesting fact to start the season. George Springer is in center. He's not been a regular center fielder since 2022 with the Houston Astros. Anthony Santander played a lot in left field in spring training, and Alan Roden, a rookie, making his big league debut starting here today, opening day. Clement, Bichette, Jimenez, and Guerrero, 2 Gold Glovers on the right side. Alejandro Kirk's had a great spring, but look at Andres Jimenez, 3 Gold Gloves. He's going to make that whole infield better. Roddy doesn't have to range so far. Bo doesn't have to range so far. And this young man, keep your eye on him. He's a good-looking young player.
We will tell you a lot about him. 25-year-old making his major league debut. A big part of the reason Springer's in center, they just want to let Roden ease into it a little bit more, and he is much more familiar with the corner spots than center, so why not stick him in right for his big league debut? Ready to go and underway with the first pitch just outside. Ball 1 to the Orioles left fielder Colton Cowser. Cowser in his 2nd year in the big leagues. Last year was the runner-up for the American League Rookie of the Year. 24 homers, drove in 69. Swing and a miss over the top of a fastball there, 1-1. And last year, the Orioles 4th in the majors in runs scored, and that's with a lot of injuries in the second half, and Adley Rutschman didn't hit much in the second half. This is a deep and balanced lineup, and in what figures to be a hotly contested division, the Orioles are going to have a big say in it.
Yeah, the Orioles last year had 7 more players that hit better than the RBI number 2 man for the Blue Jays. Varsho drove in 58 runs for the Blue Jays. That was second to Guerrero. The Orioles had 7 players with 58 or more RBIs last year.
Barrios out in front, 1-2. And misses outside with a fastball as he touches 96. That's big velocity for Jose Barrios.
Opening day adrenaline.
The 3rd time that Jose Barrios has been the opening day starter for the Blue Jays. The 5th time in his career. Did it twice with the Twins. Fastball, and he does not get the call. Boy, and if this were the spring, Alejandro Kirk would be challenging that one.
Now, of course, that doesn't carry into the regular season, the challenge, but that looked like a pretty good pitch, and Barrios thought it was strike 3.
Nothing but fastballs early on from Barrios. And the 3-2 he got and went to the changeup to put him away.
Jose Barrios has a very simple approach. A couple of fastballs, a breaking ball, and a very good changeup. He's got so much confidence in his changeup. He can throw it on the decisive 3-2 pitch. Gets a swing and a miss. You can see how far Cowser was out in front of it. Took a lot off that changeup.
So Pete Walker looking on after the first out of the season, and now here's Adley Rutschman, the catcher for the Orioles. We mentioned really fell off in the second half. Had a great first half. The numbers really fell off. Got hit in the hand by a foul tip towards the end of June. And the numbers fell off after that. Never used that as an excuse. Never said he was injured. But by all accounts looked just like himself in the spring from both sides of the plate. And the Blue Jays have seen a lot of the damage that Rutschman can do. And so has Jose Barrios. Rutschman is like an inconceivable 13 for 22 against Barrios with 3 home runs,
including his first big league home run. game against Barrios, and he's also had a 2-homer game against Jose. A lot of success against Barrios.
And the 2-0 fastball foul back, 2-1.
Well, you mentioned Adley Rutschman's second half of the season, and yeah, he did get hit with a foul tip, but a lot of people felt like for the first time in his baseball career, he struggled. He's always been a guy that takes a lot of first pitches. He takes a lot of first pitch strikes, and he put himself in a hole in the second half of the season.
This one is high in the air, deep right field, and he got Barrios again. His 4th career home run off Jose Barrios, and the Orioles have an early 1-0 lead.
It looked like another high changeup. 3 of the home runs he hit prior to this one were balls up in the zone. He's a much better high ball hitter than low ball hitter. He had hit 2 fastballs up in the zone. This is the changeup, and it's just too high. Look how it stays up in the zone. It's about belt high, and Rutschman gets to it. When you have this type of success against a particular pitcher, you walk into the box with a lot of confidence. You see the ball well for whatever reason. You really feel comfortable stepping in against the box, and as Dan mentioned, that's his 14th career hit against Barrios.
And just like the Blue Jays are saying, hey, if Bo Bichette has a typical Bo Bichette year, huge help for the team. If Adley Rutschman looks more like first half Adley Rutschman than second half, that's a huge thing for the Orioles. Here's Jordan Westburg, the second baseman today. We mentioned the Orioles are without Gunnar Henderson, so they've moved some people around on the infield. Westburg, who's normally at third, is at second. Jackson Holliday, who was set up to be the second baseman, is at short. And Ramon Urias is at third for Baltimore. As Westburg lines one into right field, and that'll get down for a base hit.
That looked like a breaking ball, and Barrios has made some adjustments to his breaking ball. He kind of calls it a slurve. It's in between a curve and a slider, and he's trying to throw it a little bit firmer. And that one is right off the end of the bat, and Westburg stays on it, gets enough of it to hit it into right field. That's just his first hit in 7 at-bats against Barrios.
So now the cleanup man in the Orioles lineup, their designated hitter today, Ryan O'Hearn. And this guy maybe not the biggest name in the world. There are other guys on this team who have bigger names, but he's just a tough out. You see that OPS plus 122. That means 22% better than the league average. 2 years in a row he's had that. The walk rate went up last year. The strikeout rate went down. Line to short, caught by Bichette. Throw to first, double play. So that'll take the defense off the field here in the top of the first. Barrios does give up the home run to Adley Rutschman, but that's it. This hot shot right to Bichette to start the double play, and he'll lead it off when we come back. Season as the Blue Jays leadoff hitter. He is healthy. He's in a good place. He had a great spring. And he is atop the Blue Jay lineup. It's the big three, if you will. Bichette, Guerrero, and Santander at the top. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Huge numbers in his career against the Orioles. And last year's numbers, rather, were even more ridiculous. We'll tell you about that as he comes up. Andres Jimenez hitting cleanup. We'll get to the rest of the lineup as they come up. Second year in a row, Zach Eflin has been an opening day starter against the Blue Jays. Last year with the Rays, this year with the Orioles.
Yeah, it's really unusual. This will be his 9th career start against Toronto. For his career, he's 3-3. They've hit him hard. Made his first big league start against the Blue Jays, pitching for the Philadelphia Phillies. In that game, he gave up 3 home runs, including a grand slam to Josh Donaldson. So he is very familiar with this Blue Jay team. In fact, when he was traded from Tampa Bay to Baltimore, he made his first start against the Blue Jays.
They saw a lot of them last year. 4 starts in total. Bichette in the hole, 0-2, hit .373, 4 home runs in the spring. You see his numbers from a year ago, very un-Bichette-like. Had the calf injury twice, then broke a finger at the end of the season. And like Guerrero, it hasn't gotten nearly as much attention, but like Guerrero in the last year of his contract, so you know Bo Bichette on a number of levels, personally and team, very motivated to go out and have the very best year that he can have.
Yeah, and he's in a good spot. We've seen him all spring long. He seems to be much more relaxed, much more comfortable. He's had a great spring in the field and at the plate. And he has talked often about the impact that Andres Jimenez has had on him.
Shoots this to right field, but it is carrying out to Tyler O'Neill, the new Oriole, as he makes the catch.
First baseman, number 27, Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Huge ovation for Vladdy during the pregame introductions, and a warm ovation here as well as he steps in for his first at-bat of the season. He hit a home run off Zach Eflin on opening day last year down at the Trop.
It was a home run. 451 feet to straightaway center, high above the batter's eye at Tropicana Field. I mean, he smoked it.
Breaking ball swung on and missed, 0-2. As Guerrero asked for time. A good spring for Guerrero, and from what I saw, and I think you would share this, just looked like himself. If I don't think the contract thing is weighing on him when he's in the batter's box.
Yeah, I haven't seen one moment where he was anything but Vladdy Guerrero Jr. He's been a leader, more outgoing. That's David Popkins there, the new hitting coach, talking with Bo Bichette over what he saw from Zach Eflin in his first AB.
Swing and a miss. Breaking ball in the zone that Guerrero swings through. 2 down.
Vladdy got a pitch to stay on the inside. Sometimes when you see the spin of a breaking ball, you expect it to go away from you, but watch how this ball kind of stays inside, and he was simply out in front of it. He committed to it and was way out in front of that slower breaking ball.
So 2 down, and here is Anthony Santander's regular season debut as a Blue Jay, and it comes against the team he was with for the last 7 years, the Baltimore Orioles. So he's got a lot of friends, and as he came to the plate, a little tap with Adley Rutschman as they exchanged pleasantries. Santander signing a 5-year deal. Everybody knew the Blue Jays needed to add power in the offseason, and he was a guy a lot of people, from casual fans to hardcore fans, kind of zeroed in on and said he'd be a good fit. Part of it is that he's a switch hitter.
Another part of it is that he hit 6 home runs against the Blue Jays last year. Let's sign him so he doesn't hurt us anymore.
Hit 44 home runs a year ago. First time Silver Slugger Award winner. First time All-Star. 2-2. Couple of cutters from Eflin, just running a little bit in on Santander. He'll play some left, he'll play some right, he'll DH some. And he's popped it up on the infield right near the mound. Behind the mound, it'll be the third baseman Urias to make the catch. And it's a 3-up, 3-down, bottom of the first. signed to replace Anthony Santander is Burnaby BC's Tyler O'Neill. He was with the Red Sox last year, with the Cardinals for a number of years. Before that, slugged 31 home runs a season ago as a member of the Red Sox. And O'Neill's got some family here. Mom, dad, his wife, his daughter, all taking in the game here at the Rogers Center.
A lot of extended family here as well, and it's the second straight opening day they've all been together, because last year he opened up in Seattle with the Red Sox.
He has homered in 5 consecutive opening day games. That's a major league record, and he's got a lot of power, as everybody knows.
Yeah, he homered last year to establish that record at 5 in Seattle in the top of the 8th against Cody Bolton, and he was really pleased to separate himself from the others.
Tried to check it, the appeal down to first, and he didn't go. It's 3-0.
He homered against the Blue Jays as a member of the St. Louis Cardinals, and that came against Alek Manoah back in 2023.
There with a fastball, 95, 3-1.
His home runs on opening day in 2020 in Pittsburgh, or at home against Pittsburgh in St. Louis, and then St. Louis was in Cincinnati in 21. Pittsburgh at St. Louis in 22. Blue Jays in St. Louis at 23. And last year, of course, Boston was in Seattle. I asked him today, I said, did you go down to Seattle a lot when you were a kid to watch the Mariners? He goes, when the Blue Jays and Yankees played.
So he might have been one of those kids getting in early and running down the
Oh yeah, he said it was always a treat to go down there and watch him. Went to Garibaldi Secondary School out there. Big baseball fans, always loved the Blue Jays.
3-2. And that's low, ball 4, as O'Neill is aboard with a leadoff walk.
Barrios is really questioning the strike zone early in this game. He's made some pretty good pitches, and that looked like a breaking ball that caught the inside part of the plate. You could see him slump his shoulders. Lance Barksdale, a veteran home plate umpire, and that was a little bit low, but again, he's been around the plate, just hasn't gotten any borderline calls in his favor at this point.
And again, for people who saw the challenge system in the spring, that was just an experimental thing in the spring that does not apply in the regular season. He paints one over the outside corner to Ryan Mountcastle, the first baseman for the Orioles. 271. You could see only 13 home runs last year. Part of that is, remember, they moved the left field wall way back at Camden Yards, made it higher as well, and that really hurt hitters' ability to hit the ball out to left, as Mountcastle lines one into left, and that's going to get all the way to the fence. O'Neill on his way to third, and Mountcastle into second with a double, and the Orioles are threatening again.
Mountcastle has always hit well in this ballpark, and that's just his 3rd hit in 23 at-bats against Jose Barrios. It's that 2-seam fastball. He gets to it and is able to keep it fair down the left field line. His other 2 hits against Barrios are both home runs, but he hasn't had a whole lot of success against Jose.
So second and third, nobody out, already 1-0 Baltimore, and now here's the center fielder Cedric Mullins. And the Blue Jays at the moment playing in on the corners back up the middle here. Mullins has been an Oriole for a while. He goes back to before this resurgence in recent years. A ground ball, leaping stop by Guerrero. The feed to Barrios. They don't get him, and the run comes in to score.
Yeah, Barrios was late breaking off the mound. I think he thought that ball was going to bounce over Vladdy's head, because O'Neill had stopped at third base. He saw that Guerrero was going to make the play. Watch the runner at third. He's going to stop right there. And Barrios was a little bit late breaking off the mound, and that cost the Blue Jays a run. Barrios is a former Gold Glove winner. He's a good fielder, but watch the hesitation. He thought the ball was going to bounce over Vladdy's head, and that cost him a run. O'Neill does the right thing. he had to make sure that ball was through the infield with the corners drawn in, so he stopped. But once he saw Berrios wasn't going to get the first base in time, he breaks for home and scores.
It is scored as a base hit and an RBI for Mullins. It is 2-0 Orioles. Still nobody out here in the top of the second. And the batter is Ramon Urias, the third baseman. Will be more of a utility guy once Gunnar Henderson gets healthy, but for now he will man the hot corner. Henderson eligible to come back after the first week of the season, and the Orioles hope he will be ready at that time. Runner goes from first. The throw through from Kirk, the tag, and they got him. Alejandro Kirk throws out Cedric Mullins.
Let me tell you something, Alejandro's thrown great all spring long. Last year he threw out 31% of the base stealers, and he nailed Cedric Mullins. Mullins had 32 steals in 38 attempts last year, and this is on the money. Andres Jimenez is in front of the bag, so he's able to put the tag on Mullins before he gets to the base. Terrific throw, great tag. Tell you what, the Orioles, they're playing aggressive right away, running the bases hard and trying to add to their early lead.
Now the infield comes in. Runner at third, one out. And pulled foul. It is 0-2. Of course, the big news a couple of days ago, the Blue Jays announcing the extension for Alejandro Kirk. 5 years, $58 million. Something that he says his agent came to him just when the spring training games were getting going and saying, hey, the team wants to talk to you about an extension. Mark Shapiro had a ton of good things to say about Kirk during his preseason media availability, and it's not just the bat, it's the improvement defensively. He really has come to be known as one of the best defensive catchers in baseball the last couple of years.
The catching position all around baseball is very thin. Seattle Mariners just locked up their catcher as well. Cal Raleigh signed a 6-year deal just before the start of the season. Tyler Heineman is the backup catcher to Kirk, but Alejandro Kirk has really stepped up his game behind the plate and at the plate.
2-1 the count on Urias. Runner at third, one out. Check swing. No swing on the appeal. Now 3-1.
Here's where you really got to save this run at third base. You're bottom of the order, number 8 hitter, number 9 is on deck. You got one out already. Figure out a way to get out of this, and you don't really need to go after this number 8 hitter. If you walk him, put him in first base, you got a chance for double play to get out of the inning. Pitching to the number 9 hitter.
In the air, back of second. Jimenez going back and will make the catch for out number 2.
Well, that's a good first step, trying to get out of this inning and leave that base runner at third base. And this is where veteran pitchers like Berrios really understand where they are in the lineup. I'm at the bottom of the order. I've already given up a run this inning. Now I really got to focus on number 9 hitter and get out of it.
Interesting number 9 hitter, though. This is the former first overall pick, Jackson Holliday. All of 21 years old. He's about 20 pounds stronger than he was a year ago. And again, with Gunnar Henderson out, he's playing shortstop right now, although he figures to be the regular second baseman. Was called up last year, really struggled, got sent back down, came back later in the year, did a little bit better. Had a very good spring, though. And the Orioles think there are big things ahead for him, and soon. Brandon Hyde told me before the game he's just so much more relaxed now, Holliday is, than he was a year ago. He's gotten rid of a leg kick, more of a toe tap, just trying to make more contact, hit line drives. He runs very well. Of course, the son of Matt Holliday, who had a terrific big league career, and Jackson's got a little brother who's not so little, Ethan, who's expected to be a very high pick this year.
Yeah. And the one thing about it, the Orioles did a terrible job when they brought up Holliday to the big leagues. They had T-shirts given away. 15,000 T-shirts were given away during his debut. They did an awful job. They put extra pressure on a young kid that didn't need any.
Couple of strikes on him. And a breaking ball fouled off. Hit .333 in the spring. And again, you always take spring numbers, good or bad, with a grain of salt. But the Orioles are awfully excited that Holiday is going to be a vastly improved player over a year ago.
Yeah, he's had 3 spring trainings with the Orioles, and he's hit great each spring. But it's a different story once the regular season starts.
Mountcastle, the runner at third. And a fastball right there to get it. Barrios gives up another run, but minimizes the damage. It's 2-0 Orioles here at the Rogers Center. It's not baseball season till Geddy Lee's in the house. Bottom of the second, Blue Jays coming up. Season, Santander signed as a free agent. Scherzer, Hoffman, Jimmy Garcia back signed as a free agent. And then the trade with Cleveland that brought in Andres Jimenez and also Nick Sandlin, who is in the bullpen. Jimenez, a guy like Santander, drawing rave reviews not only for the ability, but for kind of the way they go about their business. They take it very seriously. It's all about winning, etc., etc. He clearly is not your prototypical cleanup hitter. That is obvious. He is not a big power guy. But right now, if you look at the Blue Jay lineup, they don't want to put a Wagner or a Rodin, obviously. You don't want to put those guys up there at this point of their careers. And they want Kirk behind Jimenez so that Jimenez can run. They don't want Kirk in front of Jimenez because Jimenez is a 30 stolen base guy. The Blue Jays have decided they really like Jimenez in front of Kirk when possible. George Springer's hitting lower in the lineup. He's 6th. So for now, anyways, it's Jimenez. I don't know about you, though. I think we're going to see a lot of different batting orders this year.
Yeah, and you know what, Dan? Baseball has changed dramatically because there aren't many traditional cleanup hitters in the game. Guys like Aaron Judge are hitting second. Those are old-fashioned cleanup hitters. Those are the guys that you always count on to bat 4th. But it's a different game now. And the reason that Bo, Vladdy, and Santander are hitting 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, Snyder wants him batting in the 1st inning. He wants him to face the starter in the 5th inning for a 3rd time. And that's when the opposing manager has to make a decision.
Jimenez had a great offensive season in 2022. Hit .297, hit 17 home runs, had an OPS of .837. That's when he signed after that year, his 7-year deal with Cleveland. He's now entering year 3 of that 7-year contract. He'll lift a fly ball to left. Cowser just back a couple of steps. I don't know that anybody is expecting that kind of year, but even if he can be a league average hitter with the defense and the speed, it's a very good player.
Yeah, and the Blue Jays didn't get much production at all from second base last year, and obviously we know defensively he's going to be a dramatic upgrade. But in his last 3 seasons with Cleveland, he drove in 60 or more runs.
One down. Here is Alejandro Kirk. Hit .253, 5 home runs last year, finished better. Last couple of months he played more after the Danny Jansen deal. The offensive numbers went up, and he's going to play more this year. Chops one towards 3rd. Charging is Urias, and he'll get him. I think most people expecting Kirk to play, if assuming he's healthy, you know, start maybe like 110 games or something like that this year.
Yeah, and we've talked often about that, is that the position is now a two-man position. Nobody plays 140, 150 games. I think Cal Raleigh is the one guy that will play probably 135 games during the regular season. You need two people at that position.
2 down. Here's George Springer. Again, the leadoff hitter for almost all of his tenure with the Blue Jays, but here on opening day hitting 6th, and he generally hit 5-6 for most of the spring. You see the numbers from a year ago, not where Springer wants them to be, so at least at the outset he is down in the order.
He told me something really interesting this morning, and it makes a lot of sense. You know, he said when you start in spring training, you take your first 15 at bats and you just go up there and you want to see pitches. You want to see how you pick up pitches, and then the next 15 you kind of work on a couple of specific things. But then once you get into the regular season, it's almost like spring training all over again, because for the first time you're facing major league pitchers in every at bat. And that's what's different about it. He said it just takes a little bit of while during the regular season to catch up to major league pitching. He said, I generally think it's about 50 to 100 at bats early in the season during the regular season before you really start to get comfortable and confident that you can catch up to big league pitching on a regular basis.
I think we're going to see a lot of this.
Yeah. That's a great conversation.
Guerrero and Santander. Still 2-2 as Springer fouls it off.
Yeah, and there's Jimenez right in the middle of it too. Talking about what they have seen so far from Eflin, what they can do in their next at bat. Barshaw's right there in the middle of it too. And you know he misses those conversations because he's headed back to Florida.
And a breaking ball that Springer swings and misses at. 6 up, 6 down so far for Eflin.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. Earlier, Dan and Buck showed you some of the new faces for the 2024 Toronto Blue Jays. Max Scherzer, though, is heading into this season dealing with a sore right thumb that flared up following a spring outing. Now, Scherzer did throw a side session yesterday, and manager John Schneider told us earlier today that he is good to go for his Saturday start. Now, Scherzer did admit he's had to change and adjust his routines a little bit, from changing the way he treats that thumb to having to back off of bullpens to how he throws the baseball. My arm is built to hold a baseball in a certain way, so when that's affected, the rest of my arm is picking up the slack because of the lack of strength in my thumb. Now, Scherzer told me his thumb is okay. It didn't get worse. He said it didn't blow up. So, Dan, you know, he looked pretty frustrated, but it sounds like he's managing it as best he can.
Yeah, Hazel and I were there talking to Max yesterday, and Max Scherzer is a fascinating person in addition to being a future Hall of Famer, 40 years old. The thumb, and it's a nerve issue, was a big problem for him last year. It ran up his arm through the triceps and it caused him a lot of issues. When he was on the mound, he was great in the spring. He only allowed 2 earned runs in 13 innings, struck out 18 and only walked 1. If he's healthy, he feels, and certainly what we saw suggests that he can still get people out. One of the interesting things he said, Buck, he's even altering non-baseball routines. He said, I'm opening a water bottle with my left hand now. Like, I'm just trying to reduce the amount of use and the wear and tear on that right thumb. It certainly is something to keep an eye on, but from everything we heard today, he's going to make the start on Saturday.
Yeah, man, you know what, if he is healthy enough to make that start and compete. I mean, there's not a better competitor in all of baseball, position player or pitcher. He loves to compete.
Colton Cowser leading it off. One other Scherzer note: when John Schneider was asked about Scherzer earlier today, how is he? He said, well, he roared into my office talking scouting reports with his hair a mess, so I think he's fine. And the hat covers up. Max just, wherever the hair goes, and he certainly is a big presence in the clubhouse. That goes without saying. 3-2 the count on Cowser.
You know, Dan, all great pitchers that I've seen over the years are baseball players. They understand the game. They understand how hitters hit. They understand when base runners are stealing. And Max Scherzer is one of those baseball players that happens to be a pitcher. He loves to talk the game. Look at his eyes. He's going like, you got to do this, you got to do that. And he's watching what's going on in the course of a game. George Springer even had a couple of extended conversations with Scherzer about hitting.
3-2 to Cowser is outside, ball 4. And that's the second inning in a row in which Barrios has walked the leadoff man.
Both of these starters today, generally real good command pitchers. They don't walk themselves into too many tough spots. And now, after a leadoff walk, you got to deal with Adley Rutschman,
who, with the home run he hit off Barrios in the first, is now 14 for 23 in his career against him, including 4 homers. Fastball down the middle for a strike.
I think the one thing that Barrios has done is he has made too many mistakes up in the zone with Rutschman. Too many of the balls that he's hit hard have been up. He's got to focus on making quality pitches at the bottom of the strike zone.
That one high, and Kirk will bluff a throw down to first. A ball and a strike on Rutschman as Cowser's back in. Orioles won 101 games 2 years ago, 91 last year, were swept in the postseason in both years. And of course, they don't have Santander anymore. They don't have Corbin Burns anymore. He's now a Diamondback. But they have brought in some people. They increased their payroll by about 60 to 70 million. But a lot of their fans were like, well, go do the big thing, the big splash, whether that's keeping Burns or going after a Max Fried or what have you. They definitely augmented their roster and raised their payroll, but maybe not by quite as much as some of their fans were hoping for.
Yeah, and I kind of thought with the new ownership in Baltimore that they would make a run at one of the big starting pitchers because they weren't able to keep Burns, and Corbin Burns made a point of wanting to go back to his home area. He lives in Scottsdale and he lives in the Phoenix area, so he signed with the Diamondbacks.
A ball and 2 strikes on Rutschman. And this one sliced into left, a base hit for Adley Rutschman. Now 2 for 2 off Barrios in this game.
When I would get to a point where a hitter was having this kind of success to a pitcher, I would sometimes even tell him what's coming. Just try to mix it up. Give him a little hesitation. Say, hey, we're going to throw you a fastball now, and then the batter goes, really? Just a little bit of a hesitation because he's on everything. I mean, he didn't hit that ball good, but he got enough of it for a second hit of the ball game.
So 2 on, nobody out for Jordan Westburg, who had a base hit his first time up. Infielders at double play depth. Clement at third, even with the bag. And Barrios looking for that ground ball and a chance for this infield to turn 2.
Now, early in this game, 2 walks and 5 hits, and Barrios has left a few too many pitches over the heart of the plate.
A little bit late there, 0-2.
A little better location there on that 2-seam fastball. It started off the plate and got it to move to the point where Westburg chased it.
And And strike 3 called as Barrios gets a call at the bottom of the zone to ring him up.
That's another good changeup. Let's see. Second strikeout he's gotten on the changeup so far. 2 of his 3 strikeouts have been with the changeup. This is a terrific pitch. Kirk loves that changeup, and when Jose can stay behind it and keep his hand on top of the baseball, he can get it to go straight down. When it runs along the plane of the bat, it's not effective. But boy, when he stays behind it, gets that good spin, he can really locate it at the bottom of the zone.
So 1 down. Here's Ryan O'Hearn, who lined into a double play his first time up. And he'll look at a strike. A 4-game series here to get it started between the Blue Jays and the Orioles. Then Washington is in for 3. Breaking ball. This is popped up. Clement with room in foul territory to make the catch. 2 down.
Well, another good out as Barrios made a good pitch to O'Hearn. And it was interesting watching the defense react to that pop-up in foul territory. Clement goes after it. So does Bo, the shortstop. Barrios goes to third. Jimenez was headed to third, and Vladdy went to second. Everybody was on the move. And that's what you need to do. Everybody's got a place to be on every play. And they executed that very well. Jimenez made sure that Barrios was on his way to third. Vladdy followed Jimenez into the bag at second.
Now Tyler O'Neill chases a breaking ball in the dirt. It's 0-1. O'Neill walked and scored in the second. Zach Eflin has been very sharp so far. 6 up, 6 down in his first 2 innings of work. Barrios trying to keep the deficit at just 2. Tried the breaking ball again, but no chase. A ball and a strike. Two balls and a strike, and you saw Barrios's reaction that he missed a spot so badly. Bowden Francis, Max Scherzer, Chris Bassett, Kevin Gausman, all the other starting pitchers sitting together towards the end of the dugout looking on. Fly ball to right field. It is hit well, and it is gone. A 3-run home run. Tyler O'Neill homers on opening day again. That's his dad up and clapping here at the Rogers Center. O'Neill extends his major league record. He's now homered on 6 consecutive opening days.
Unbelievable. He's just shaking his head as he goes deep again opening day, and that pitch was away from him and he stays on it, but again it's up and got too much of the plate. Obviously he's one of the strongest guys in baseball, and he can hit it out to any part of the ballpark, and right there he goes deep. 6 straight opening day home runs for Tyler O'Neill.
And a 5-0 lead here in the third for the Orioles. Boy, if they could somehow hypnotize him into thinking every day was opening day. So Rutschman homers, O'Neill homers. Ball and a strike on Ryan Mountcastle. We started talking about the fences moving out a couple of years ago, when it really may have impacted Mountcastle more than anybody else. They moved him back in at Camden Yards, not all the way in. They kind of split the difference between the way it used to be and the way they changed it a couple of years ago. So it's gone from hitter's park to much more of a pitcher's park, and now everybody says it's fair. Time will tell, but I'm sure Mountcastle's happy.
Yeah, I never remember ballparks being changed as dramatically as they have the last few years. I mean, even Rogers Center, they've made the adjustments out in the center. They dropped the fence height in center field.
In the air to left center, hanging up and caught by Santander. And that'll retire the side, but the Orioles have added to their lead. Tyler O'Neill, another opening day home run, and it's 5-0 Baltimore. Back to the Rogers Center here on opening day. Let's welcome in our friend Emily Agard. Emily.
Dan, not the start that Jays fans were looking for, but I'm very excited to be part of the broadcast again with you and our entire team. And just like last season, I am going to be your host, your guide to everything fun, new, and exciting in and around the Rogers Center. And let's start right now, okay? I'm here at the brand new Heinz Club 328. It's a brand new space, and it's really a space that has never been seen before inside a ballpark. It's really with Jays fans in mind. As you can see, we've got premium views, a private bar, and we've got over here, if you follow me, let's take a walk over here. We've got views over here like you've never seen before. Really, you can't get any closer to the action than this right here. Now, I'm going to join you and our crew back with the game in just a bit, but I saw a big Plinko wall in the back of this corner, and it has my name written all over it, Dan. So I'll check back with you in a bit.
All right, Emily, thank you. We go to the bottom of the third, 5-0 Orioles. Will Wagner getting his first at-bat of the season. He is DHing today as he grounds out to second. Wagner, of course, spent much time with the Blue Jays, a few weeks with the Blue Jays towards the end of last season after the trade from Houston. Eventually, they shut him down because of a knee issue. He had surgery, 100% ready to go physically. This year, will play some first, some third, DH, probably not much second because of the acquisition of Andres Jimenez, but the Blue Jays liked a lot of what they saw in the bat a year ago.
Yeah, I really applaud the manager, John Snyder, for getting both Wagner and Roden into the lineup opening day. You take youngsters, give them a chance to play.
Here's one of the holdovers from a year ago, Ernie Clement, getting another start at third base here on opening day. He was a Gold Glove finalist at third, and by far got the most playing time he has ever had in the big leagues, and had a very nice year. Hit a dozen homers, stole a dozen bases. This one to shallow left field for out number 2. And that's going to bring Alan Roden up for the first time in his big league career. The guy who really in the last year or two has really risen up the prospect rankings, has really put himself on the map. Great year last year. First half at AA, second half at AAA. Even better in the spring, and kind of forced their hand to put him on the team. He is known for his eye, his ability to, know what he wants to do in an at-bat and then execute the plan. He's not going to be a 40 home run guy. He's got some power. Hit 16 home runs a year ago. Will take a walk, runs pretty well. And then there's the intangible stuff. Unbelievably intelligent, an astrophysics major at Creighton University, and you talk to the coaches, and I mean, they just go on and on about his work ethic, his determination, all the intangibles that you want to see as well. So yeah, it's a big day for him.
He has good at bats all spring long, and he's been with the Blue Jays for 3 spring trainings, but this year he really made a name for himself. And he doesn't go up there just chasing hits. He goes up there chasing good pitches to hit. You can see the mind is working right now, saying, okay, just stay with your approach. You got the count in your favor against a veteran pitcher.
And sends a fly ball to left. It is playable towards the corner for Cowser. He'll make the catch. And Zach Eflin is perfect once through the order.
Download the app for the latest odds on today's baseball games and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Opening day here at the Rogers Center in downtown Toronto. Dan Schulman, Buck Martinez, Hazel May. Not going so well for the Blue Jays so far. They are down 5-0 going to the top of the fourth inning. Natalie Rutschman and Tyler O'Neill have hit home runs. And here's Cedric Mullins, and he hits a rocket to right, and that's gone. Third home run for the Orioles, and it is 6-0.
Well, we talked about the Orioles offensively and how good they were last year. They're off to a great start this season as well. Third home run of the ball game, and you know, not long ago, Cedric Mullins was a 30-30 player and their best player on the team, and he dropped off offensively, and he's off to a good start. He's had a couple of hits already in this game, and he has picked up an RBI, and this one, another pitch right over the heart of the plate, and Barrios hasn't been able to get the ball out of the middle of the strike zone early in this ball game.
Mullins, a former 30-30 guy a few years ago, an all-star. Not as big of a role on this team as he had in earlier years before this young core all got to the big leagues. Here's Urias, the third baseman. Nobody up in the bullpen for the Blue Jays. A lot of teams are playing 3-game series over a 4-day stretch. A lot of teams are off tomorrow. If you play in an open-air stadium, they build in an off day in case the weather's bad. Obviously, no such worries here. This is a 4-game series in 4 days, and the last thing John Schneider and Pete Walker want to do is, it's amazing to say this on day one, but it's the way baseball works. They don't want to have to run the bullpen out there for 5-6 innings here
now,
today.
They will play the Orioles in Baltimore for a 3-game series, April 11th, 12th, and 13th, and then not see the Orioles until July 28th back here at Rogers Center. So this is a big 7-game span over the course of a couple of weeks.
Ground ball to short. Bichette on to Guerrero. Well, and how you do within the division is going to be critically important. You and I have talked a lot about this over the last couple of weeks. I mean, everybody in this division has a chance to be a good team. The Yankees are dealing with a lot of injuries. Garrett Cole out for the season. Luis Gil out for at least a couple of months. Giancarlo Stanton, who knows? The Orioles are dealing with injuries. The Rays have some injuries. Relatively speaking, the Blue Jays, I think you'd agree, about coming to the season the healthiest of the 5 teams in the American League. But this could be a year where everybody's good but nobody's great, and a game here, a game there means a ton.
Yeah, I agree with that. The Yankees have 11 players on the injured list to start the season, including those big stars that you mentioned. Tampa Bay, they lost their ace. Shane McClanahan coming back from his second Tommy John surgery. He's got a triceps injury now. He's on the IL. Everybody is dealing with injuries, and Blue Jays fortunately have been really pretty healthy all spring long.
Swing and a miss by Jackson Holiday. 1-2. They've got Dalton Varsho on the IL, building up the shoulder after surgery in September. Hopefully back in a couple of weeks. Eric Swanson, Ryan Burr are on the IL. Zach Pop was, but he was DFA'd by the team today. One of 3 players who were DFA'd. Tommy Nance and another pitcher, Nick Robertson, also DFA'd. They had 3 non-roster players they had to get onto the 40-man to get him on the 26-man roster. Holiday with a fly ball to left center. Just the second start in the last 2 years plus today out in center for George Springer. Made 1 start out there in the spring as well, but again they want to make things a little bit easier on Alan Rodin in his debut, so he's in right, Springer in center.
Yeah, man, George has started now 402 games in center, so it's not like he's a stranger out there, and I think it's kind of refreshing for him to get a different perspective, getting back in center for a few games.
Colton Cowser up for the 3rd time. He has struck out and walked and scored. Fly ball to center, another play for Springer. And that's that. The Orioles add a run on the Mullins home run. It is 6-0. Going to the bottom of the 4th, top of the order, due up for the Blue Jays. Stanley Cup playoffs not that far away. The Leafs are out on the West Coast right now. They'll take on the Kings tomorrow night. You can see it, or Saturday night, excuse me. You can see it on Hockey Night in Canada, beginning at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific on both Sportsnet and CBC. You went to the game Tuesday.
I did. It was a good game. They really overpowered the Flyers, and they had a good game. Great turnout. They're playing pretty well.
Bottom 4, Orioles 6, Blue Jays nothing. The Jays still looking for their first base runner. Bo Bichette up for the 2nd time. Down and away, 2-0. And went after that inside breaking ball and hooked it foul, 2-1.
Blue Jays just have to be patient, and you're not going to get 6 runs all in 1 inning. You just got to have good at bats, get some good pitches, get some base runners on. They haven't had a base runner yet.
Santander a couple of spots away. Guerrero on deck. A lot of talk, especially the first half of the spring, about how the batting order would look. Would it be 1, 2, 3 with these 3 guys, or would somebody else be up top, either leading off with Bichette second or hitting second with Bichette first? John Schneider says they're going to roll with this for a while, see how it goes.
Yeah, I think the big key to John putting his lineup together will be these three batters, Bichette, Guerrero, and Santander. He wants to keep them together, whether it's 1-2-3 or 2-3-4.
Two hopper to short. Holiday on the money, one down. Now, one of the big reasons to keep them together, especially if it's 1-2-3, some of it's just math. If Guerrero's hitting in the 2 spot, he's going to get up more times this year than if he's hitting in the 3 spot. And John Schneider said a few times during the spring, I don't want to be down in the 9th inning and have the game end with Guerrero on deck, so they'd like to get him up as much as they can.
Yeah.
As you said, Aaron Judge hits to a lot of the best hitters in the game hitting the 2 spot. Back in the day, like if you take this roster and have it back in the 70s or 80s, Bichette, Guerrero, Santander might hit 3, 4, 5.
Yeah,
right?
Bichette would hit 3rd,
yeah.
Vladdy would hit 4th,
yeah.
and Santander would hit 5th. I mean, traditionally, when I started in 1969, the leadoff hitter was a guy that get on base, whether he took walks or slapped singles. The second guy was a guy that could handle the bat.
Yeah.
He'd bunt, he'd hit and run, he'd do a lot of things. Your best hitter was always hitting 3rd, and your power hitter was hitting 4th.
Guerrero looks one over. It's 3-1.
Now, best hitters in general around baseball hitting 2nd.
And Vladdy went after one well out of the zone with the count in his favor. It's 3-2.
Yeah, he did that in the 1st inning as well when he struck out on a breaking ball. It was probably out of the strike zone.
This time he'll take the walk. Going to bring up Anthony Santander, who certainly left his mark in the Orioles organization. This is a quote from his former manager, Brandon Hyde, a couple of weeks ago. Quote, he is one of my favorite players that I've ever had, have ever been around. Teammates say the same thing. His new teammates have said the same thing. His new manager is a big fan of his. They got him for the power. They also got him for the kind of teammate that he is. And Ross Atkins, the Blue Jays general manager, was the Cleveland director of player personnel when Santander started his pro career, and that was in the Cleveland system. So he's known him for years. Mark Budzinski, the first base coach for the Blue Jays, was one of Santander's managers during his minor league days. To center field, but it is playable shy of the track now in left center. Mullins will make the catch as we check in with Hazel.
I asked Brandon Hyde what has been the biggest difference in Anthony Santander, and he said the professionalism from his first couple of years to the end of his Orioles career was what he noticed the most. How he prepared pregame, how he kept his body in shape. Everything he could possibly do, he did it like a true pro. That was the biggest difference. And like you said, Hyde said, the Blue Jays got a power hitter, a good teammate, and a great clubhouse guy. Dan.
Hazel, thank you. 2 down. Andres Jimenez up for the 2nd time. Hit a fly ball to left in his first at bat. Even though they didn't win these awards as Blue Jays, Jimenez received his Gold Glove from a year ago pregame. Santander received his Silver Slugger. Guerrero got his Silver Slugger, and Varsho got his Gold Glove. So there were 4 players out there pregame getting their awards from a year ago.
Yeah, that's a nice tribute to have those players recognized at the start of the new season.
Fly ball to right field. It's hit pretty well, and it is gone. Andres Jimenez with a home run in his first game as a Blue Jay, and it's got him on the board.
Who said John Schneider couldn't put a lineup together? Their cleanup hitter goes deep. First hit for the Blue Jays. Andres Jimenez had 9 home runs a year ago for the Guardians, and he gets the first home run. And the honor of wearing the home run jacket for the first time here in 2025 by his countryman from Venezuela, Anthony Santander.
Well, got to start somewhere, and that's a good start. Jimenez with his first. It is 6-2. I wonder if there are, like, who's the first guy to put the jacket on pools out there, and how many people had Andres Jimenez in that pool. But you take him where you can get him.
Yeah, he put a good swing on it. We mentioned a couple years ago he had 297, and this is a good swing. That breaking ball, inner half of the plate, about belt high, and Eflin knows it's not going to stay in the yard.
Now Kirk with a ground ball down to third. Urias will throw him out to end the inning, but the Blue Jays have their first hit and their first runs in the 2025 season as newcomer Andres Jimenez goes deep. At the end of 4, it's now the Orioles 6 and the Blue Jays 2.
On this opening day. Now, with this being the first game of the season, you know I had to hit up some of my favorite spots in the outfield district right here. Right now, I'm here at the Catch Bar, and here's your reminder that the outfield district ticket is $20 all in, so that means that you get access to places like TD Park Social, Corona Rooftop Patio, Schneider's Porch, and places like right here, the Catch Bar. So if you want to learn more, you can go to bluejays.com/tickets. Dan, I'm sending it back to you.
Emily, thank you. Have fun out there today. Emily Agard will be with us during many of the home games, telling us about things going on around the ballpark.
You know, Dan, I want to say hello to a good friend of mine, Miles, who's a terrific fan and a great Blue Jay fan. He's in the hospital. He's had extensive surgery lately, and I know he's watching. So, Miles, don't get discouraged. The season is young yet, and you keep listening to those doctors and get yourself healthy.
All the best. Adley Rutschman leading off the 5th, and he has already had a big day. Had a home run in the first, a single, and he scored on the O'Neill home run in the 3rd. That fastball runs outside, 2-0.
You know, Rutschman had such a disappointing second half to his season that the catching instructor, Tim Cousins, flew out to Portland to his home twice in the offseason to talk about some catching mechanics and try to get him back on track. I mean, this is a guy that has never struggled in his career at baseball. And he was also a football player. He was a kicker on the Oregon State football team. And he's just been a super athlete his entire career. And last year, he probably struggled for the first time in his baseball career. We mentioned he takes a lot of first pitch strikes. Well, in the second half, more often than not, he found himself behind 0-2 and then just kind of panicked and started to expand his zone and chase some pitches that were pitches he could normally hit. But he's off to a good start, had a good spring, and he's had a good game so far in game 1.
The Orioles had some really lean years, which is how you get first overall picks, and Rutschman was a first overall pick in 2019. But it kind of feels, Buck, when he showed up in the big leagues, which was fairly early in the 2022 season, that's really kind of, you could draw a line in the sand there, and that's kind of when the Orioles started to turn it around. And he was just the first of a wave of young players that have shown up in the last 3 years and made this one of the best teams in baseball the last couple of seasons.
May 21st, that's when he came up, and he had an arm injury in spring training, or else he would have been up earlier. But he's always been a terrific leader, and he came up and he never hesitates. And you remember when he first got to the big leagues, he would walk his pitcher off the field into the dugout after every inning. I mean, he's got tremendous leadership skills.
3-2 changeup to get him. Barrios strikes him out.
Step up to the plate and take on any DIY project. At Home Hardware Building Centers, we have everything to build anything. Here's how.
Opening day here at the Rogers Center. The Orioles leading the Blue Jays 6-2, first of 4 between these two teams. Jordan Westburg has popped it up in foul territory. Will it be playable? It will for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. 2 down.
You hear pitching coaches all the time talk about shutdown innings. After your team scores, you want your pitcher to go up there and put up a 0. And now Barrios is an out away from doing exactly that. The Orioles have scored in the first 4 innings of this ball game. Blue Jays just scored in the bottom of the 4th, and now put up a 0 and get your team back at the plate. Get back in this ball game.
Two down for Ryan O'Hearn, the DH, who's 0 for 2. That's a cut fastball there from Barrios. That is the 5th pitch of his 5, if you will. But it's one he threw a little bit last year and more in the spring. It's a pitch he wants to increase the usage of as a weapon against lefties and even against righties a little bit. Against lefties, he wants it up and in on them. Don't let them get those arms extended.
Well, and I sure think this is part of the development of Alejandro Kirk, because he hasn't been on his game early on, so now he's incorporated the cutter a little bit. Kirk says, you know what, we got to try something a little different.
Breaking ball fouled off, still 0-2.
And another pitch that was too much over the heart of the plate. O'Hearn was able to get to it and foul it off. But you know what? You make 32 starts a year, you're not going to have your A game every single time. Jose got off to such a great start last year. He was the American League Pitcher of the Month for March and April. Got off to a terrific start to his season.
Change up in the dirt, ball 1. Barrios is stretched out, got up into the mid-80s in his last spring start. So John Schneider said, you know, he can get up to 100 pitches. About to throw number 80. Gausman, Bassett, Francis all fully stretched out as well. Scherzer, because of the thumb issue, didn't have quite as many innings, didn't get quite as deep into games. Did not go. 2-2.
Pete Walker's going to get somebody started down in that bullpen.
Lined into center, a base hit, and O'Hearn comes back from 0-2 for a base hit. Well, there's so many fun things about being able to have a job like this, but I guess they've got a new giant pretzel here at the Rogers Center, and we got delivery. Where's yours, by the way? Don't make it seem like I'm the only guy.
No, I got one too, but
Yeah.
I gave it to Scotty. He's going to take it home. I think we got enough for a whole team up here.
I do, yeah. Scott Carson's getting a lot of pretzel. As you can see, I've done a little damage already, although he took a bit.
Good.
It's really good.
And you know what else?
It's really good.
I got a smash burger here. They sell a smash burger here now, and it is really good.
When did you do that?
Tuesday.
Wow.
Yeah, I was scouting and
scouting.
Yeah, the
I was shouting at the Smash Burger.
Yeah, the Smash Burger is good. It's a double burger cheeseburger with hot French fries, and make sure you check out the Smash Burger. It's really good.
Another newcomer to the Blue Jays this year, left-hander Richard Lovelady, is now getting up in the bullpen. Well, Tyler O'Neill is up again. A 3-run homer his last time up as he takes a fastball in for ball 1. Been on base both times, walked and scored in the second. The Orioles have scored in every inning so far coming into this one.
You know, Tyler O'Neill was drafted and signed with the Seattle Mariners. He was scouted by the late great Wayne Norton, a Canadian scout for Seattle at the time, and he signed him. And then eventually he was traded to St. Louis. Norton was involved as one of the founding members of the National Baseball Institute out in British Columbia. A terrific scout. He was born in Winnipeg and he passed away in 2018, but he was a terrific scout. He was involved in signing O'Neill, Michael Saunders, George Sherrill, and Philippe Aumont. And Norton is in the Canadian Hall of Fame. Terrific scout for a long time. Really helped out a lot of Canadian players.
Barrios out in front, 1-2, trying to keep the Orioles off the board this inning. Little chopper up the third baseline. It's trouble, and there won't be a play.
Yeah, Barrios got off the mound, and that ball didn't look like it was going to trickle into foul territory. It was too much on the artificial turf. So O'Neill has a long one and a short one. He's been on base all 3 times. He walked his first time up, and now he has his second hit, a little dribbler up the third base line. Not much anybody could do with this one. Clement was deep, and that ball's not going to go into foul ground, so Barrios doesn't have a play.
So now 2 on 2 out for Ryan Mountcastle, who has doubled and flied out to left. Takes a fastball low. Just think about the depth of this lineup as you look at it, and then you remember Gunnar Henderson's not even here right now. Could be back when the Blue Jays get to Baltimore on the first road trip, but this is a team that has the potential to score a lot of runs this year.
And they did last year, as you mentioned, and they've got a balanced attack, good mix of righties and lefties, and they can score a bunch of runs. And you're right, when they get Gunnar Henderson back, he'll hit in the leadoff spot.
1-2. But high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Not the kind of start that Jose Barrios was looking for here on opening day, but if he is getting near the end, trying to make sure that the Orioles don't add to this lead. Next pitch will be number 90. Got him. 5th strikeout of the afternoon. 6-2 Orioles going to the bottom of the 5th. Let's get an update now from Jamie Campbell. sponsor of opening day, TD wanted to reward fans for their dedication because it's your game. Thanks to TD's passion for elevating your fan experience, 45,000 fans this afternoon received a limited edition Blue Jays toque. TD, ready for Blue Jays fans, ready for you. How many toques do you own?
A lot.
A lot? I got a lot of toques too.
I got a lot of toques.
Yeah. I got a lot of time for toques. George Springer leading off the bottom of the fifth. Grounds out to short. He's 0 for 2.
I would like that light blue one. It'd go with my outfit today, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. When you live in Canada and you've got a dog, and I'm 2 for 2 there, you need a lot of toques. Pretty good day for Zach Eflin. The only damage, the 2-run home run by Andres Jimenez an inning ago. Here's Will Wagner getting his second at bat. Talked to Will before the game and I said, have you got family here? He said, my wife is here, but that's it. And I said, where's your dad? And as you know, Billy, the Hall of Famer, Will's dad, coaches Billy's brother. And they've got a game today. So Will said, like, my dad is so wrapped up coaching my brother. He said, but I am told that he has asked somebody to follow him around with an iPad today while he's coaching his brother. Wherever Billy goes, apparently somebody's following around with an iPad at today's game so that Billy can watch the game. That's squibbed foul, 1-2 on Will Wagner. What are you expecting out of Will Wagner this year?
I expect Will Wagner is going to get probably 375 to 450 at bats, play some third base, play some first base, give you good at bats, and, you know, hit about 275. I think that's what he's capable of doing. And he's a complimentary player. He doesn't have to be a big run producer. He has to get on base. That's what his game is. He understands he's a line drive hitter, hits the ball all over the ballpark. You know, he had a 5-hit game last year.
This is well hit to center. But because he hit it to the deepest part of the park, it is caught. 2 down as we check in again with Emily.
Thanks, Dan. Here's a question for you, Jays fans. Are you ready to come out of hibernation and launch into a season of Junior Jays fun? Get ready for Junior Jays opening day this Sunday, March 30th. Bring the whole family for a fun-filled day of games, activities, prizes, and much more. Kids 14 and under can run the bases post-game just like their favorite Blue Jays players. Don't miss it. Visit bluejays.com/promotions to grab your tickets for this weekend.
Emily, thank you. Ernie Clement lines out to left, and that's the end of the inning. Through 5, Orioles 6 and the Blue Jays 2. Jose Barrios officially done for the day. Opening day did not go as he had hoped. Touched up for 6 earned runs, 3 homers in 5 innings through 90 pitches today against the Baltimore Orioles. He will look on from the dugout. Probably want to break it down on the iPad a little bit. And it's a Blue Jay debut for left-hander Richard Lovelady. Split time between the Cubs and then later the Rays last year. Most of the time with Tampa Bay. Signed as a free agent with the Blue Jays in the offseason. There were a number of lefties in camp kind of bidding for that second lefty role behind Brendan Little, and Lovelady is the guy who got the job.
Now, Lovelady appeared in 8 games for the Blue Jays this spring. He had kind of an up and down spring. He'd go out there and have a good outing, 1, 2, 3, and the next time he'd have a little trouble. But overall, they're interested in having that second left-hander. You could see in his major league career, he's pitched in 108 games. Got some time with the Kansas City Royals starting in 2019. Signed originally with the Royals. This is a good pocket, if you will, for bringing Lovelady into the game. Mullins, Urias, and Holiday. And then the top of the order, Colton Cowser. 3 of the 4 batters scheduled to come up are all left-handed hitters right here.
And the 0-2 to Cedric Mullins. Skied in the air to right. And a play for Alan Rodin, who will make the catch. Lovelady, not an overpowering guy. He's got both fastballs, 4-seamer, 2-seamer, both around 92, 93. Got a slider as well. And they view him as kind of your traditional lefty, come in for a pocket, as you said, and hopefully get left-handed batters out. Ryan Yarbrough was in camp with the Blue Jays until very recently. And not that it necessarily came down to Lovelady or Yarbrough, but Lovelady is here and Yarbrough is not. And the explanation given by both John Schneider and Ross Atkins was having Yarbrough and Yariel Rodriguez, 2 long guys, just kind of unsustainable. They felt getting both of them kind of having the same job description and needing to get a certain number of innings, stay stretched out. So they opted for the more traditional lefty in Lovelady. And boy, within 24 hours of packing up in the Blue Jay clubhouse, Ryan Yarbrough was unpacking in the Yankee clubhouse in Tampa, and he's on the opening day roster for the Yankees.
Yeah, there's a lot of shuffling this time of the year, a day or 2 before opening day. And Rodriguez, of course, could have been a starter depending on Max Scherzer's health, and there was a possibility that he would have been that 5th man in the rotation. But he's down in the bullpen, and they have shortened up his arsenal a little bit when he works out of that bullpen. So it'll be interesting to see how he makes that adjustment. Of course, he started for a couple of years, was a reliever for 2 years in Japan, so he's been down that bullpen quite a bit.
A 2-2 count on Ramon Urias, the number 8 hitter in the Orioles lineup. Fouls it off to stay alive. And more activity in the Blue Jay bullpen. Jacob Barnes, who along with Lovelady, they got the last 2 spots in the pen. Barnes is new to the Blue Jays, but he was with them briefly in 2021. Made 10 appearances with the Blue Jays then. Jacob Barnes has pitched for 9 different major league teams. Inside, full count.
Yeah, I mean, everybody in that bullpen has a role, and you know they understand what their role is, and Blue Jays are behind, so you're not going to see the premium arms out of that bullpen in day 1. That looked like a pretty good pitch. Lovelady didn't get the call.
Depend guards won't make you a grill master, but they'll show leaks who's boss. Keep it dry, guys.
Top of the 6th inning here on opening day at the Rogers Center. 6-2 Orioles. 1 on, 1 out for Baltimore. Here's Jackson Holliday. Holliday has struck out and flied out. I mean, he still looks 17 years old. And he's only 21, but there's a lot of talent in this young guy.
Yeah, and obviously he had a couple of real good spring training games against the Blue Jays last year. In a grand slam against Yusei Kikuchi. He's got the talent. It's just a matter of getting him some reps and getting him comfortable in the big leagues.
back 1-2.
I had his father on the Team USA in the World Baseball Classic in 2006. Matt Holliday. They've always been in Oklahoma, Stillwater, Oklahoma. That's where Matt went to high school, and that's where Jackson went to high school.
Well, and Grandpa Tom Holliday, a fixture there, right? Coaching in the college ranks.
Oklahoma State, yeah.
Barrios going over some of the pitches in today's opening day start. Got him. Struck him out, 2 down.
Yeah, this is where Richard Lovelady has to do a good job and, you know, get these guys out. You can see he throws his slider from a sidearm angle and gets Holliday to swing and miss, and that's a tough pitch for left-handed hitter. That one that starts at your hip and breaks all the way across the plate. So he's got one more left-hander here in Colton Cowser.
Almost hit him.
And this one gets away from him. He got on the side of it, and Cowser was able to get out of the way of it. You know, he might even let him face Adley Rutschman and turn the switch hitter around and make him bat right-handed for the first time today. So if this inning continues, I wouldn't be surprised if he faces Rutschman.
Check swing foul off, a ball and a strike on to Cowser. So the Orioles have Rutschman, a first overall pick, Holliday, a first overall pick, Cowser, a fifth overall pick, and on the bench, Heston Kjerstad, a second overall pick. This is the product of having so many rough years, but it looks like they drafted very well, and easier to do that when you're up in the, you know, the top handful of picks. But you could kind of see this coming a few years ago, even when they were losing 100 games. You heard about the system, and again, it hasn't translated into playoff success yet, but the last 2 years the Orioles have won a ton of games in the regular season.
Yeah, and they've done a terrific job of drafting. When you look at their way their team has been put together, 13 of their players on the 40-man roster are homegrown talent, and a lot of them are starters, as you mentioned.
Hit him. Boy, so he almost hit him on the first pitch, and then he ran another one in on him and puts him on.
Yeah, trying to get that two-seamer inside, and you can see it just runs and catches him on the elbow pad of his right arm, so he'll go to first base. And Adley Rutschman is going to hit as a right-handed hitter, so they'll turn him around. And now, well, John Snyder, he's coming out to have a chat here.
Yeah, he didn't pop out of the dugout instantly. I don't think we have seen the move yet, but it looks like Barnes is on his way in. So Schneider will take the ball from Lovelady, and Jacob Barnes on his way in. The Stanley Cup playoffs begin April 19th. Watch every game right here on Sportsnet. .6-2 Orioles, top of the sixth, and a pitching change. Right-hander Jacob Barnes, who also won one of those last two spots in the bullpen right on the final day of spring training. You see his numbers with the Washington Nationals a year ago. He's got to deal with Adley Rutschman. And just misses outside, ball one.
Now, this is an interesting matchup. I kind of felt they'd keep Rutschman and turn him around and let him hit right-handed for the first time today. He's had quite a start to his season. 2 for 3, couple of runs scored and a home run.
So Barnes, a guy known to the Blue Jays, again was here briefly in 2021, but he's added a new pitch this spring, right?
Yeah, he's throwing a splitter. It's been a good adjustment for him. He's always been a fastball cutter guy, but he incorporated a splitter and a slider this spring. He hadn't thrown that splitter just yet. He told me that it was a pitch that he's been working on, and he used it against the Phillies, the A lineup in Philadelphia, and he said, I was tipping it off a little bit because they picked up on it, and now he's made it a good adjustment to keep his hand in the same spot. There it is right there, and a good one. And he's always been kind of an up pitcher. He'd pitch up with a fastball and up with a cutter, and this gives him another look downstairs, and that ball's going to run away from Rutschman. Well, good delivery, good movement, and he threw it in a good spot.
Threw it in a kind of a hitter's count, too, at 2-1. Maybe Rutschman sitting on the fastball.
I think that's why Pete Walker brought him into the game right now, to see what Barnes could do against Rutschman.
Fly ball to right. Sounded like Rutschman might have broken his bat. Rodin is there, and Barnes gets his man. 6-2 going bottom six. In his major league debut today will lead off the bottom of the sixth inning, and he basically has hit about everywhere he's gone. His college career at Creighton University, terrific numbers for a couple of years. You see his numbers at AA last year, then got promoted to AAA, hit even better. Has changed a lot of how he hits, his setup. He's a completely different looking hitter than he was back at Creighton. He was the guy singled out by Ross Atkins in a positive way. Atkins was asked at the beginning of camp, what prospect are you most excited about seeing? And Ross right away said Alan Rodin. Like, not to put pressure on him, but Alan Rodin. And it was justified. Rodin hit over 400 in the spring, had an on-base percentage of .541 in the spring, and got a lot of playing time.
And that's what they like about him. He doesn't go up there just without a game plan. He's got a terrific game plan, and he'll stick with it. And he knows his role right here in this inning. Get on base. Turn that lineup over.
On on the outside corner, 3-1. A corner outfielder. They put him in center a few times. We may all see him in center field from time to time, but in right field today. This one is going to be bounced through, and that's the first big league base hit for Alan Rodin.
Well, I didn't have to wait long to get his first big league knock, and you can see Mark Budzinski congratulating him. They'll throw that ball out of play. And his family is here, and the crowd understands this moment. Alan Rodin is a big league hitter.
Got to get it authenticated right away.
That's terrific.
Yep. Hopefully the first of many for Rodin. Top of the order, Bo Bichette. Whoa. Big time cut by Bichette. Not the hardest hit ball Alan Rodin's ever had, but he found a hole, and it's a knock.
Yeah, he gets on base. He worked the count, got the count in his favor, and like I say, he didn't hit it hard, but it's a base hit to start the inning here in the 6th. Hitting in a 9th spot. You can see Mountcastle understands the moment for a young guy. First big league hit in his first big league game.
A line out to right and a ground ball to short for Bichette. Driven to right field and caught right up against the wall by Tyler O'Neill for out number 1.
Tyler O'Neill is a 2-time Gold Glover. He won a Gold Glove in 20 and then again in 22 or 21. He got a little bit turned around here, but he has enough room. Gets up against the fence in right field and makes the catch. He's a pretty good outfielder. People always talk about his power, but he's a good outfielder as well.
And staying healthy's really been a bigger thing for him the last couple of years, but he's a good player. Here's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Guerrero has struck out and walked and scored on the Jimenez home run in the 4th. Taken low. A couple of close takes there by Vladdy. 2-0. Lifts a sky-high fly ball to right. Lots of room out there for this one for O'Neill. 2 down as we go down to the field, and Hazel May.
You guys were talking about Alan Rodin. I asked him how he was going to approach the day. He says he's going to have a business-like minded day to his big league debut. He's going to take things pretty straightforward. He said it's a day I can play baseball and compete, but I know a couple years down the road I might look back on today and probably say, wow, I should have done something a little bit different. He said, I can only be who I am, Dan, and today I'm just going to approach it very straightforwardly, as he put it. Guys,
kind of fits with his personality, how we've gotten to know him, although he's always got a smile on his face. I said this in the spring. He's got a lot of similarities to Dalton Varsho in their personalities. They're both Wisconsin guys. I think Varsho's kind of taken Rodin under his wing a little bit. But Rodin not the most demonstrative or emotional guy on the outside, but you got to know he's feeling the magnitude of the day on the inside. You know, one thing the Blue Jays do, and I talked to Rodin about this, they bring some of their top prospects up here in January, and they take ground balls, fly balls, BP, they do all that. But they also meet all of the staff here from the team, people they'll rely upon and interact with. They do some charitable stuff in the city. They learn about the city of Toronto a little bit to help ease the transition a little bit if and when they get to the big leagues. I was talking with Ross Atkins about it, and like the baseball part is one part, come to the ballpark, see the weight room, see the locker room, see the family room, all that kind of stuff, but it's more about the other stuff, just so when they get here for the first time, when it counts, maybe, you know, they're a little more familiar in their surroundings.
But it's also incentivizing. You know, you get to the Rogers Center and say, well, this is where I want to play. This is part of what I want to do.
Santander will golf one to left. It's carrying a bit, but it's caught by Cowser to win the inning. And we're through 6-2 Orioles. Welcome back inside the Rogers Center opening day. The Orioles, they got it going early. 3 home runs in this game. Rutschman, O'Neill, Mullins, Jimenez with a home run for the Blue Jays. Andres Jimenez with a 2-run shot. 6-2 Orioles top 7. Jacob Barnes got the last out of the top of the 6th. Back out there in the 7th facing Jordan Westburg. Here's another guy again. You know, there are certain guys with bigger names than other guys. This guy's a really good hitter, but doesn't have that. Do as many people know him as Adley Rutschman or Gunnar Henderson? No, and they're probably a level above. But this is a guy who could break. Well, he was an all-star last year. I mean, he's a big part of one of the best offenses in baseball.
Yeah, and he made 64 starts at third base and 41 starts at second base. And you know, once Gunnar Henderson comes back, if Jackson Holliday is swinging the bat well, he'll slide over to second. Henderson will play short, and Westbrook will play third. What's good about that is they're all young and prime of their career. And in case of Holliday and Gunnar Henderson, 23 and under. Pretty interesting core. Brandon Hyde is in his 7th year as the manager, and he went through some lean times. He went through a 52 win season, but enjoyed a 101 win season as well. Oftentimes when a team is rebuilding, the manager that has to suffer through those lean years is displaced and somebody else comes in. But Brandon Hyde has been rewarded for a good job well done, and he's taken this team to playoff a couple times.
That's outside. It's 2-2. And out of play. Other names maybe to keep an eye on in terms of the bullpen. I think most people know Eric Swanson is on the IL. He's had a forearm issue, but he is throwing down in Florida. He's at least a few weeks away, but at some point hopefully he is back. And a guy very familiar to Oriole fans and Blue Jay fans, Dylan Tate, is back with the Blue Jays. He's signed late though, so he's still ramping up a little bit, but John Schneider and Pete Walker both said that the stuff has ticked up a little bit from what they saw in the spring, as Chad Green is now up in the pen. Tate's going to get an outing or two in Buffalo. He could be here with a big club before too long. There's ball 4. Let's go to Emily.
Dan, future Hall of Famer Max Scherzer takes the mound as a Blue Jay for the first time this Saturday against the Orioles. Fans, it's going to be something to see on Saturday, so be here at 3:07 p.m. Visit bluejays.com/single tickets to get yours today. That's bluejays.com/single game tickets.
Emily, thank you. You see Scherzer alongside Chris Bassett, teammates with the Mets. So teammates before, good friends. And it's Saturday's going to be interesting. I mean, there's electricity in the air when Max Scherzer's on the mound.
Yeah, and he is a terrific pitcher. And if he can stay healthy and take his regular turn in the rotation, that's going to be a big addition to this rotation for sure.
Splitter there misses low. It's a ball and a strike on Ryan O'Hearn. Fastball line to center field. Springer coming on and making the play. We saw him make a similar catch in the last spring training game, which was his only start out at center during the spring, and he looks very comfortable out there.
Well, he sure does, and that's the hardest play for a center fielder. That ball hit right at you. You just don't know if it's going to sink or go over your head. He leaves his feet, makes a terrific play. You know, I think George has been energized by the opportunity to get back in center field. He said, hey, it's a challenge, but I'm up for it.
One down. Here's Tyler O'Neill. Pretty good day. A walk, a 3-run homer, and an infield hit. Corner at 95. Activity in the Orioles pen. Right-hander Sir Anthony Dominguez is up in the bullpen. He's a guy, couple of good years with Philadelphia. Had 10 saves with the Orioles last year, but a horrendous spring when you look at the numbers, but still a guy who figures into their high leverage setup group, if you will.
He pitched 6 innings, gave up 15 hits and 13 runs in 6 innings. A lot of people were thinking that he might not make this club.
Yeah. They have Felix Bautista back this year. Their big closer. Missed all of last season after elbow surgery, as that one gets through into left field. It'll be a base hit for O'Neill. He's been on base all 4 times today.
Tyler's had some good opening day series. Obviously, now he's homered in 6 straight opening days. That looked like another splitter. But back in 2022, he had a 2-for-3 day with a home run and 5 RBIs. That was against the Pirates, and his family here, mom and dad here, his daughter's here. Everybody's having a good time. His daughter's had a terrific start to his season and his Orioles career.
First and second with 1 out for Ryan Mountcastle. 1 for 3, had a double in his first at bat. A cutter that misses down and away, ball 2. Fastball, cutter, the splitter, the occasional slider. Tried it again, missed down and away, 3-0.
Now you got to throw that slider, at least start it on the plate and entice a hitter to offer at it. Pete Walker has suggested the additional pitches to Barnes, and he has bought into it.
Three and 1.
The bullpen has been put together, and last year they had one of the worst bullpens in baseball. They just didn't have a lot of swing and miss in their bullpen, and they've addressed that, bringing in Hoffman, bringing Jimmy Garcia back, adding Nick Sandlin.
Ground ball to third. Clement's going to meet it at the bag, but cannot turn the double play. Guerrero pulled off the bag. So it'll be a fielder's choice, 2 down.
Glad he did a good job right there, because it was going to be 50-50 whether he could stay on the base and make the catch on the bad hop. So he came off the bag to make sure he could catch it, and John Snyder has popped out of the dugout.
That'll be all for Barnes. 2 on, 2 out, and Chad Green will make his first appearance of the season. Is tomorrow night here at the Rogers Center. It is part of MLB's package with Apple TV. So that game will be broadcast at 7:07 Eastern Time on Apple TV Plus. Buck and Hazel and I and the whole gang will be back with you for Saturday and Sunday. Chad Green will make his season debut with 2 on, 2 out, and Cedric Mullins at the plate. Green with a .321 ERA in 53 appearances a year ago. Late in the year became the closer. Jordan Romano was hurt most of the year, and then Jimmy Garcia was traded, and Green wound up saving 17 games. Expected to work more in the role that he's worked in most of his career, which probably means in front of Jimmy Garcia and Jeff Hoffman this year.
Yeah, and he did a terrific job. He had 16 straight save conversions to start his role as a closer. Had a good spring as well, but he hadn't pitched since a week ago. He last pitched on the 20th in spring training against Tampa Bay. He had a good spring, though. He didn't give up much. Worked a total of 6 2/3 innings, allowed just 3 hits. Walked 1 and struck out 6.
Fly ball deep right field, and it is the 4th home run of the game for the Orioles, the 2nd for Cedric Mullins, and it's 9-2.
We mentioned Mullins was their best player a couple of years ago when he had the 30-30 season, and it's his 2nd home run of the ball game. They get him going like he was a few years ago. That'll be a big addition offensively. And this is a slider again. Look at where the ball is, just right out over the heart of the plate in his wheelhouse, and he didn't miss it.
Well, they've done a lot of celebrating out of that Orioles bullpen. The home runs keep going to right field, so it's coming right at them. 6th career multi-home run game for Mullins. Swing and a miss, 0-2 on Ramon Urias. So 8 of the 9 runs the Orioles have scored today have come on the home runs.
And Mullins has 5 ribbies. He's had a big day.
Down and away, a ball and 2 strikes. Green now 33 years of age in the second year of his 2-year deal. Got him. So the Orioles get 3 more. 7th inning stretch. Baltimore by 7. Flight Path is presented by WestJet, the official airline of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Well, we're going to look back at Andres Gimenez's home run. A pretty good flight path into right field. He hit it in the 4th inning with Vladdy Guerrero aboard into that bullpen. That was a curveball from Zach Eflin. His first home run of the season, his first home run as a Blue Jay. He had 9 homers last year as a member of the Cleveland Guardians, and it's off to a good start in his Blue Jays career here.
Facing a new man out of the Orioles bullpen after 6 good innings for Zach Eflin. This is Sir Anthony Dominguez. You see the numbers from a year ago combined between the Phillies and the Orioles. Orioles got him for the stretch run. He pitched well for them down the stretch. Rough spring. They're hoping he's back to himself now that the regular season is underway. Nothing wrong with the velocity.
No, and they give him an opportunity to get back on track. They've got a big cushion here in this ball game, and he can work in the 7th inning just trying to throw strikes. As we mentioned earlier, he had a rough spring.
99 and in there, 2-1. Gimenez, then Kirk, then Springer here in the 7th. The 2 hits today for the Blue Jays, the home run by Gimenez and the base hit for Alan Roden. 3-1. Well, Wagner getting ready just in case. He's due up 4th. Again, fouled off, full count. Kirk on deck. Way inside, and that's ball 4. As the presenting sponsor of opening day, TD wanted to reward fans for their dedication because it's your game. Inside TD Park Social, TD is elevating the fan experience by giving fans a chance to throw a pitch just like the pros. TD, ready for Blue Jays fans, ready for you.
I'll tell you what, they have done a remarkable job with this stadium in incorporating all those baseball opportunities around the ballpark, and they have really refreshed this stadium that opened up in 1989. It's an old building, but it looks like a new ballpark.
Kirk with a ground ball to third, and the Orioles turn 2. Yeah, this is, I think, the 7th oldest ballpark or something like that.
It's one of the older ones. Dodger Stadium, Fenway Park, Royal Stadium, and then I think it's Rogers Stadium.
Wrigley.
Yeah, Wrigley for sure.
Yeah. Angels. Well, I guess you could take Oakland out of the mix now, right? So it might be the 6th oldest park.
Yeah.
Of course, the A's, they're just known as the Athletics this year. They'll be playing their home games for the next 3 years in Sacramento, sharing the stadium with the San Francisco Giants AAA team. One and one, the count on George Springer, who's 0 for 2. Yariel Rodriguez is up. He is the designated long man in the bullpen as the season begins, so he's going to be asked to soak up a couple of innings here. Keep Chad Green's outing short. Green giving up the 3-run homer to Mullins before striking out Arias. Three balls and a strike on Springer. And he'll take a walk. Let's check in with Hazel.
About the Rogers Center, I asked President Mark Shapiro whether the renovations were done, and he said, in fact, no, they're not. We're looking to renovate the luxury suites. They said they also had real success in holding concerts here. He would like to see the Rogers Center turn into an event space where you can have gatherings and meetings, lots more concerts, that nature in the off season. Guys.
Thank you, Hazel. A lot going on here, and again, the biggest change this year is the 3-2-8 club down the right field line. The vast majority of the renovations are done. The last 2 off seasons. Breaking ball in for a strike. 0-2 on Will Wagner.
Yeah, we noticed some new flooring in the hallways around here and lots of different things. They're just subtle touches, and that's the new 328 section down there, and it's a bar, underground bar, a nice finish to this ballpark. They've got an interesting wall in that space down there. 328 Club has got a wall of baseball cards. It's pretty cool.
All Blue Jays.
All Blue Jay cards from 77 to 2025.
So there are a few Buck Martinez's.
I found one. I was protesting a little bit because I could only find one. But there's a lot of Dave Steves up there. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And they got a nice menu. The food has been upgraded dramatically all around the ballpark. And you can see that wall of baseball cards.
I see a Damaso Garcia.
Yeah, there's Damo and Alfredo and lots of great names from the past.
Line to right, a base hit for Wagner. Springer up to second.
Well, this is what Will Wagner does. He puts the bat on the ball. It's a breaking ball. He stays on it. It's a nice line drive into right field. So he's got a hit to start his season in his first game of the year.
And a visit to the mound right now for Dominguez from Drew French, the pitching coach.
Rogers Xfinity. Game-changing internet. Stream, share, and score big with Canada's most reliable internet.
Bottom of the 7th here on opening day, and the Orioles have hit 4 home runs. They've got a 9-2 lead on the Blue Jays, 2 down in the 7th. The Blue Jays trying to put a dent in this deficit right now. They've got 2 on, 2 out for Ernie Clement. Clement is 0 for 2. Fly ball to left and a line out to left. Called low, ball one. Ernie will play a lot of third base again. Will Wagner will get some of the time, so don't think Ernie will be quite an everyday guy. He also is the backup shortstop. If Bo Bichette DHs or gets a day off, Ernie will slide over.
Yeah, Ernie had a heck of a year last year and certainly earned the right. He had a good spring too. Swinging the bat very well in the spring. Ernie's got terrific bat to ball skills. He doesn't strike out very often.
3-0. That'll get off the glove of Rutschman, and the wild pitch allows the runners to advance. And you can see where the issue can be with Dominguez. He's been all over the place today.
Yeah, that's a four-seam fastball. He just holds on to it too long and throws it right past the catcher. So Ernie's got to take a couple pitches right here and make sure that he gives himself a chance to continue the inning.
At the belt, 3-1. It's popped up for the second baseman, Westburg. And the Blue Jays will leave a couple of men on. End of 7, 9-2 Orioles. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Here are Jamie, Joe, and Caleb in the Home Hardware studio.
Friday Night Baseball is back at Rogers Center. Be one of the first 15,000 fans at the ballpark tomorrow to receive a Bo Bichette Layered City Connect replica jersey. This night mode giveaway is one you won't want to miss. Visit bluejays.com/promotions and grab your tickets now. Guys?
Emily, thank you. Interesting pitching matchup tomorrow night as well. Kevin Gausman will get the start for the Blue Jays, and 41-year-old Charlie Morton. They picked him up as a free agent in the offseason. He will start for the Orioles. Here's Yariel Rodriguez facing Jackson Holliday to get the top of the 8th underway. And again, Rodriguez, who was both a starter and a reliever last year for the Blue Jays. His role right now is as the long man in the bullpen. Had kind of an up and down spring. They're just looking for him to continue to try to attack more, be in the zone more. The old trust your stuff thing.
Yeah, he's not going to throw his curveball. They're going to try to trim down his arsenal, fastball, slider, and his split. Hopefully he'll be able to be more aggressive in the zone, and he's got a great fastball. That last pitch was 97. Nothing wrong with that. There's the slider, but it's off the plate inside.
One of the theories when a guy who has been a starter goes to the bullpen is the velocity plays up, and 97 is certainly the velocity playing up for Rodriguez. He was more like 94 last year when he was starting. There's 97 again, but you got to make him swing at it. Seven and in there, 3-2. Lined up the middle, a base hit. Holiday got on top of that high fastball. This is from a little bit earlier. A kid getting a foul ball, and look, the whole section is happy for him. Dad's happy. Everybody's happy. Nobody's happier than that young.
That's awesome. I got a foul ball. How about that? Everybody in the section is happy for the guy. Terrific. Opening day is special, man. It is very special. I had a lot of great thoughts earlier in the day when I watched these players get introduced. I thought it was very cool when Alan Roden was introduced in the 9th spot and ran out there and had a fist bump with all his teammates, and it was pretty awesome to see those two rookies, Will Wagner and Alan Roden, introduced starting this season. Of course, Wagner played last year, but for Roden, this is his first big league experience, and he's got a base hit.
Yeah. It's Will Wagner's first opening day, right? To the count on Colton Cowser.
Don Mattingly and I were standing around the batting cage before they started practice today. We're talking about opening days. He said, "How many for you?" And I said, "Geez, I don't know, Donnie." We started to count them up. I think we ended up with 52.
It's amazing.
I think Donnie had about 35 himself, playing, coaching, managing.
Foul up the right side.
You know, and another kind of an opening day situation that I thought was very emotional. September 18, 2001, and the Orioles were here at Rogers Center after 9/11, and I remember standing at home plate next to Cal Ripken Jr., and that was a very special reopening day, if you will.
You were managing that.
Yeah.
A little bit in.
But everybody anxious for opening day, and Barrios talked about it. His 5th opening day start today didn't go as he had hoped, but at the same time, you know, it's a special day for everybody. Players, coaches, managers, fans.
Up way up on the infield. Clement in near the mound to make the catch. Time now for StatCast 3D, powered by Google Cloud.
Well, the Orioles got out to a fast start. As you see, Adley Rutschman homered in his first at-bat in the first inning with 1 out. It was his 4th career home run against Jose Barrios and the 3rd longest home run of his career. Went 436 feet, and he also added a base hit in the 3rd inning. So for the day, he is 2 for 4 with an RBI and a couple of runs scored. And he's anxious to get off to a good start. He had a good start to his season last year and then really tailed off in the second half. But he's a big part of this team and a very special player to have that kind of production from a catcher.
And they'll DH him a bunch when he's not behind the plate. They want to keep the bat in there when they can, and they signed Gary Sanchez, who people will remember from his years with the Yankees. He's bounced around to a few teams since then, but they bring in a veteran guy, know him much more for his bat than his glove, but Gary Sanchez is the backup catcher. There he is.
Yeah, the Orioles are pretty pleased with the way Sanchez has embraced this opportunity with the Baltimore team. And you're right, he's always been offensive first guy, but Brandon Hyde told him, he said, "I want you to be a catcher. I want you to get engaged with all these pitchers," and he has done exactly that.
Last year, Rutschman started 99 games behind the plate and 42 others at DH, so was a starter in 141 games. Lefty Keegan Aiken is up in the Orioles pen. Runner at first, one out, and a 2-2 count on Rutschman. And a breaking ball fouled off.
Yeah, he was out in front of that a little bit. He was just off stride a bit and was able to foul it off.
Fastball drilled. Another shot to deep right. The second home run of the game by Rutschman, the 5th on the afternoon for the Orioles.
Boy, he hit that ball hard as well. And the Orioles, they hit a lot of home runs last year. We talked about that, and they have picked it up right where they left off a year ago. Adley Rutschman had 19 home runs last year. He's had a 2-homer game here. He's got 3 hits in the game, and another pitch that looked like a fastball. It was cutting a little bit, but never got inside, and Rutschman's able to get to it and hits it deep into the seats in right into that second deck.
So Rutschman with 2 homers, Mullins with 2 homers, and Tyler O'Neill with 1 as well.
Four-seam fastball. It cuts a little bit, but not enough to get it inside. And another pitch that had just too much of the plate. And Rutschman had a great spring, and he's off to a great start here in the regular season.
Now Westberg gives one a ride deep left center field, and that is off the top of the wall and out. Another home run. (12-2).
Westberg's first of the season. He hit 18 home runs last year. And watch the location of this pitch. It's a breaking ball. He just doesn't get it down and away far enough, and it hits right off the top of that fence and hits that metal railing above the fence. That's a ballpark home run out of the ballpark.
High fly to center off the bat of Ryan O'Hearn. Springer there, 2 down. No, not the most glamorous role on the team, obviously, but this is where Yariel Rodriguez finds himself, and his job just to try to get as many outs as he can get in games which may be, you know, where the margin is a little bit larger one way or another. It can always change, but he's got to pitch well enough for his role to change.
Yeah, and obviously, given the way that the pitchers threw in the spring, and then you know, you're always thinking, well, you can't really count on everything that happened in the spring, and certainly not the start that the Blue Jays had hoped for. Jays have allowed 14 hits and 12 runs, and they've given up 5 home runs. Blue Jays on the offense, just 2 runs on 3 hits.
And here's Tyler O'Neill, who's been on base all 4 times, 3 for 3 with a walk, including a home run. Three balls and a strike. Up to 27 pitches already now. And Obviously, they'd love to get another inning out of him. John Schneider doesn't want to have to bring in anybody else, but you just saw it, Pete Walker on the phone.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is go deeper into your bullpen at this point. This is game 1 of a 4-game series and 7 straight games to start the season here. Charlie Morton and Kevin Gausman tomorrow night, and we'll be back to cover the Blue Jays debut of Max Scherzer on Saturday.
Dean Kramer for the Orioles. That's high ball 4, and the inning continues. So our next telecast comes your way Saturday, as we just mentioned. First pitch at 3:07. The broadcast started at 2:30. Max Scherzer's Blue Jay debut. Dean Kramer for Baltimore. Series will wrap up Sunday. Chris Bassett will get the start for the Blue Jays on Sunday afternoon. Tomoyuki Sugano, a 37-year-old from Japan who signed in the offseason with the Orioles, will make his Baltimore debut. Chris Bassett had a nice spring. You saw Pete Walker on the phone, and it is Nick Sandlin who came over from Cleveland along with Andres Jimenez. Looks like he'll make his Blue Jay debut here today at some point, this inning or next. Mountcastle 1 for 4, doubled in the second. 1-1. Swings through a slider, 1-2.
The Orioles, we mentioned they hit 6 home runs this afternoon. The most home runs they had in the game last year. They hit 5 against the Tigers on the 20th of September. This is a big start to their season offensively, just picking up where they left off.
Checked it. It's high, 3-2. The 6 home runs given up by the Blue Jays today. Needless to say, the most they have ever allowed on an opening day. Previous high had been 4.
And they have won 5 straight opening games coming into this one.
There goes the runner, and a swing and a miss. Rodriguez gets Mountcastle onto the bottom of the 8th.
fans kick off the season with an exclusive Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Silver Slugger bobblehead. Be one of the first 15,000 fans to arrive at the ballpark this Monday, March 31st, and add this to your bobblehead collection. Grab yours now at bluejays.com/promotions. Guys.
Emily, thank you. We appreciate it. It is on to the bottom of the 8th here at the Rogers Center. Gee, a little bit of traffic on the Gardner. Couple of changes for the Orioles. Heston Kjerstad is in right field. He'll take the place of Tyler O'Neill, and left-hander Keegan Aiken is on the mound. He will face Alan Rodin, who last time up picked up his first big league base hit.
It's a good opportunity for Rodin to get a look at a big league left-hander in a regular season game.
Right on the corner, 1-1. Came down to the last couple of days of spring. John Schneider announcing there were basically 5 guys competing for 3 spots. Alan Rodin, Nathan Lucas, Miles Straw got the spots. Addison Barger, Stuart Baroa went to AAA. Baroa had a good spring. Barger had a great spring, and I think everybody believes at some point he's going to be up with the big club. And that's ball 4. I think everybody thought it was going to be called a strike, but it's ball 4, and Rodin's on base for the second time.
You saw Don Mattingly talking with John Schneider on the bench, and he kind of described Mattingly's role a little bit more of an offensive coordinator, if you will, and DeMarlo Hale will be the defensive coordinator.
Mattingly's title is bench coach. Hale is associate manager. That will, boy, he stayed on the bag. So Bichette grounds into a double play. Yeah, and basically John Schneider said the defensive stuff, positioning, controlling the other team's running game, that's more DeMarlo Hale. The offensive stuff is more Don Mattingly. Two down, and here's Guerrero. Vladdy today 0 for 2 with a walk, scored on the Jimenez home run back in the 4th. Two and 0. On the corner, 2-1. Change up there that just got away from Aiken. 3-1. And Guerrero walks for the second time today.
Well, everybody's underway today. Everybody's playing. So there's one game that's going to start until tomorrow. Colorado's not playing. But how about Kevin Pillar? He had talked about retiring. He even worked with Jamie Campbell in the World Series coverage, and he gets a start in center field today, and he has gone 2 for 3 with an RBI in opening day.
Anthony Santander pops one up in foul territory. Rutschman will make the catch, and it's 8 complete now. 12-2 Baltimore. more here in this one. The Orioles have hit 6 home runs in the game, and they've got a commanding 12-2 lead going to the top of the 9th. John Schneider has gone to the bullpen again. Not the kind of situation he envisioned for Nick Sandlin's Blue Jay debut. Again, Sandlin coming over with Andres Jimenez in the Spencer Horwitz trade from Cleveland. A guy with a good splitter, kind of a deceptive delivery. He can get some swing and miss.
Yeah, and that's one thing that was really missing in the bullpen for the Blue Jays last year. There wasn't a lot of swing and miss in their bullpen, and they've added some of that, and hopefully that'll play out over the course of the season.
There's a slider swung on and missed. Cedric Mullins has had himself a day. 3 for 4, 2 homers, and 5 driven in. Now the slider. Sandlin was a position player until his junior year of high school, and they were short on pitchers, and his coach said, "Do you mind pitching?" And so he went to the mound. He was a shortstop, and he used to turn double plays with kind of that sidearm angle. And he just started pitching the way that he threw the ball as a shortstop, and he stuck with it. Not the biggest guy in the world, not the hardest thrower in the world, but again, deception, a lot of movement, and if he's on the edges, he can get a lot of swing and miss.
Yeah, and he throws that breaking ball into lefties and away from righties, and then he throws that splitter a lot to the left-hander. It's a pretty good split finger pitch. That's a 2-seamer with late movement, just missed the inside corner. So he's got him set up right now for the splitter. You can see he sets that ball in that split finger grip as it gets into his glove. Threw it, but was underneath it, got his hand underneath it. Max Scherzer always into the ball game. He and Chris Bassett have been discussing things all game long.
Back to the slider, pulled way foul. Down to first, backhanded by Guerrero, and he feeds Sandlin covering for the out. Sandlin last year a .375 ERA and 68 appearances with the Guardians, all 4 of his big league seasons with Cleveland prior to the trade. Here's Ramon Arias. Way up in the air to right. Rodin coming in, calling forward and making the catch. 2 down. Former Blue Jay Brian Baker is up in the pen now for the Orioles. He got the last spot in their bullpen. Very briefly a former Blue Jay. 1 appearance back in 2021, although he was in the organization longer, obviously, but with the Orioles the last 3 seasons. Jackson Holliday, the batter. Boy, is he bigger than last year. It's not even close.
Well, he's grown up. He was just a teenager before. Now he's 21, putting his man muscles on. That's a good splitter right there. Got it in a good spot.
The biggest reason why Sandlin last year had much better numbers against left-handed batters than he did righties. That splitter a real weapon against the lefties. Went to it again. This one will find the seats.
Now, you start getting the left-handed hitters to reaching for that splitter, and then they become vulnerable to that inside fastball. He's got that 2-seamer that we've seen in this inning, up to 92 miles an hour, that he threw to Cedric Mullins and just missed the inside corner. Missed with the fastball away.
Splitter away, 2-2. Miles Straw on the left. Also a former Cleveland Guardian, Dalton Varsho there as well. Again, Varsho on the IL, just here to receive his Gold Glove, and he'll continue to build up with the shoulder before getting back to active duty. Rodin onto the track to make the catch as Holiday retired, and it's on to the bottom of the ninth.
In big moments. This is what the playoffs are all about. The spotlight shines brightest right here.
Well, if you're just joining us, the Orioles started swinging early, and they really haven't stopped. They have hit 6 home runs in the game, and they've got a 12-2 lead going to the bottom of the ninth here on opening day. The only Blue Jay runs coming on the Andres Jimenez home run in the 4th inning. And it's Brian Baker into the game for Baltimore, looking for the last 3 outs.
Yeah, Brian Baker, as I mentioned earlier, had appeared in one game with the Blue Jays a couple of years ago. He is 30 years old, from Florida. He's had time in the big leagues with the Blue Jays. The last 3 seasons, he has spent time back and forth with the Orioles.
A couple of defensive changes for Brandon Hyde as well. Jackson Holiday has moved from shortstop to second base. Jorge Mateo now in the game at short, so Jordan Westberg is out. 96 and a strike, 1-1. Jimenez, Kirk, and Springer scheduled here in the bottom of the ninth. Kirk's on deck, and we can see Springer on the steps, so the regulars are all going to get their final at bat despite the margin here. .98 from Baker there, and Jimenez fouls it off third base side. Right in on his hands. Alan Rodin's major league debut. He'd like a different outcome for the team, obviously, but he's made the plays in the outfield. He's been on base a couple of times with a hit and a walk. That'll get you a start tomorrow.
Yeah. Charlie Morton goes tomorrow, and Morton, of course, with that great curveball. Not overpowering, but he, a veteran of many seasons, has anxious to contribute to this Orioles team.
It's a good test for a rookie.
Yeah.
Face a guy like Charlie Morton. Off the end of the bat, popped up, and Mateo back to make the catch. Well, if you're going to compete in this division, you've got to do some winning in this division, and the Blue Jays have struggled each of the last 2 years, 21 and 31 each of the last 2 years in the East. And you know, if you're going to have a chance to be a postseason team, you got to beat out some of those Eastern Division teams, and the best way to do it is get them head to head.
Absolutely. And last year Baltimore won 7 of the 13 games these two teams played, and they will meet again very quickly in Baltimore, April 11th through the 13th, a 3-game series. Then they won't meet again until the end of July back here at Rogers Center, and then finally last trip into Baltimore will be in September.
It's quite a first road trip the Blue Jays have. 3 in New York against the Mets, 4 at Fenway, and then 3 at Camden Yards.
Opening day against the Mets in New York.
1-2 the count on Kirk.
If all things falls in place, Max Scherzer will make that start against his former team.
There'll be a buzz that night between the home opener and Juan Soto's first game in front of the home fans. Scherzer on the mound. Those two guys there, that's Hunter Mentz, assistant hitting coach. Those two guys were teammates 20 years ago at the University of Missouri. Shot to right. And a couple of bounces up against the wall. Kirk is on his way to second, and he's out. A single and out, trying to stretch it into a double.
Yeah, not a good decision right there. I know it is 12-2, but you got to make sure that you're going to make it safely. And Kirk hit it down into the right field corner. Heston Kjerstad, the right fielder, came in defensively, and he plays it perfectly. And that play is right in front of Alejandro, and he should have known not to try to advance to second base. Got his head down, but just not a good gamble right here in this situation.
So the Blue Jays down to their final out. George Springer is the batter. Kjerstad just into the game and throwing out a runner. Springer 0 for 2 with a walk today. Game 2 tomorrow. Again, that is part of MLB's Apple TV package, so we won't have it for you. We're back Saturday. It's Kevin Gausman and Charlie Morton tomorrow. Gausman encouraged by the spring that he had, much healthier obviously than he was a year ago at this time.
Yeah, last year he didn't pitch much in the spring, and he just couldn't get his velocity up. And when you don't have velocity as a fastball splitter guy, they lay off your splitter and just tee off on your fastball.
And that is the ball game. Springer down on strikes, and the Orioles come in here and throw their weight around. Adley Rutschman with a couple of home runs. Cedric Mullins with a couple of home runs. Tyler O'Neill, another opening day home run. 6 in all for the Orioles as they win it going away by a score of 12-2.
Yeah, disappointing start to the season for the Blue Jays. Just 2 runs on 4 hits. They couldn't get much going, but for the rookie, Alan Roden, he got his first big league hit. Will Wagner also gets his first big league hit of the season, and Andres Gimenez goes deep. But not many bright spots for the Blue Jays here on opening day.
Game 2 tomorrow night. We're back with you on Saturday. Right now, it is time for Blue Jays Central. Jamie, Joe, and Caleb in the Home Hardware Studio.